Welcome back to another episode of the FNtasia podcast. We are here with episode 33, and it's a big day because as of the time most of you are watching this, Fortnite have just come out with their Valorant and CS Killer. But those games are done. CS, 20 plus years of history, done. Valorant, success, done. Fortnite Ballistic is here. Reese, Boop, pleasure to have you here with me today.
Thank you.
What do you think of Fortnite Ballistic? How you feeling about it?
I mean, you know, like you said, 20-year history of CS changing to CS Gone now is insane. Oh, yeah. It's just, there's nothing. Like, if you go on Twitch, 0 viewers. Go on Valorant, like, what even is that game? Have you played it? I've not played it. It's not installed on my PC. But Fortnite Ballistic is. And, you know, we're speaking as if I played it, but you know, we just know in our hearts that it's going to cook them.
Right.
Well, we know what to expect, right? Like, CS has had 20 years of the great minds. We've had Kenny S, Simple, you know, we have Donk up and coming, but does it have furries or pink teddy bears, W keying and pushing B site? You know, those are things that just don't exist. Maybe in Valorant, I don't know about Valorant. Valorant's been having some strange updates recently to cater to their audiences, but Fortnite's got it all. You know, it's over for those games.
Yeah. On a serious note, for the people wondering what is happening, Fortnite announced last week that they will be releasing Fortnite Ballistic, a brand new 5v5 mode, tactical FPS, bomb defusal type mode, and of course, instantly drawing comparisons to a lot of the big games in that sort of market, like CS, Valorant. Obviously, Call of Duty have Search and Destroy, which has always been super popular, and Fortnite finally releasing their own version of it. A lot of people from Epic were tweeting nonstop about how long they've been working and how hard they've been working on this, how excited they were to release something like this. It was funny because Clutch, who runs our Twitter, posted a clip from when we were talking about like Chapter 5 wish lists. And I was like, I'd love for them to release like a competitive mode.
You didn't know, didn't you? Yeah.
I can't say if I knew or not. Regardless. This is going to be interesting because we've already seen a couple sort of like leaks and things about what this is going to look like. And it's very different, right? Fortnite's a third-person battle royale game, third-person shooter game, and it has been that for the past 7 years it's existed. And we already knew we were getting first-person modes this year, and you know those tools have already been released now to the public within UEFN. Limited versions of those tools, we'll say. And now they have just... Yeah. Now, Epic themselves are like making a first-person mode, like an official first-person mode. This is a huge step for the future of the game. This, you know, depending on how successful this is, could have massive implications. And so I want to have a conversation about the scope of where this can go, what we know about it so far. It's a bit annoying, right? Because when this released, you will literally be able to play it. So we might be saying things that are just like, well, that was way off. But
only by an hour.
But only by like the one guy who says we react to old information is going to be like, look,
it's going to be so right.
It came out 1 hour ago, boys.
Like, come on, man. Give us
you could have just waited, man. You could have just waited.
Give us a bloody break. Well, let's look. I think we've got some pictures of like some weapons and some of what the map looks like. They're sort of initially dropping with just one map. There's going to be one map available. I believe the way it's going to work is it's going to be the first team to get 6 rounds on each half, and then you swap sides, I believe. Is that what they said? I should probably have the document up where they officially did say all of this stuff. But I will get that up in a second. Let's take a look at some of the things that we've already seen. Based on what we've seen so far, I know, Reese, you're not necessarily a CS or Valorant man, but
hey, don't put me in that closet. That's not true, okay? I played
just like your Pokemans, bro.
I played at least 6 hours of Counter-Strike in my life. Deathmatch only.
6 hours of Counter-Strike 1.6 or something, innit? Like
no. I played CSGO. I played one of my best friends.
What was a young beast doing, anyways? Like, what was your gaming start to not play CS?
I played Halo. I was mainly on console. Yeah. When I had a rubbish like laptop and PC, so I just played RuneScape. So like,
I say that's valid.
So I had a good gaming history, but I was not on. I really thing is I had all like the CS games on, and they were fun, and I enjoyed playing them, but I didn't. Because my PC was crap, I didn't play that much. So I have some knowledge in this area.
Okay. Well, the thing is, you might have that knowledge, but the second I saw this get tweeted, the comparisons to Valorant broke my heart. Oh my god, Fortnite's copying Valorant. Motherfuckers! Valorant copied CS. Do you not know history? It actually pained my heart to see everyone saying, "Oh, it's just a Valorant clone, man. It's a Valorant clone."
You know what? Really, like, I had the same experience. I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't want to.
Call him out.
I don't want to do
that. Talk your shit.
But
at them in the
comments. I had a conversation with somebody, and they said, "Oh, did you see Fortnite's releasing like a Valorant mode?" I was like, I really love you, mate, but you're killing me here. Like, you're not doing so many favors. But look, TAC FPS has existed even before CS. Like, CS wasn't the first TAC FPS, to be fair, right? So
yeah,
TAC FPS has existed. This format, this type of game mode has existed for years. So with that being said, hopefully Epic don't find a way to mess it up, right? That's usually like, this has existed for 30 years, and it's like,
it's quite simple.
Somebody messed it up.
Yeah.
All right, so look, there's some things that I'll read out. So in Ballistic, players are sorted into 2 teams at the start of the match, attackers and defenders. Attackers aim to plant a reality-tearing rift point. If you play other games, that's like the bomb or the spike.
I was gonna wonder what they were calling it. Like, I was gonna wonder, like, are they gonna plant the bomb? I was like, that's not very Fortnite. That's not very, you know.
Wait, what was it called again?
It's the Rift Points device, which is very thematical with Fortnite. Like, that makes more sense. Like,
so are you saying, yo, plant the Rift Point device, or we calling it the RPD? I think it's the RPD.
We're calling it the bomb.
Plant the RPD, bro.
Well, like, on official broadcast for it, I'm probably gonna call it RPD because it's like, I wouldn't be able to call it the bomb.
Official broadcast.
Well, eventually they're gonna do some broadcasts for this, right? Okay. Surely, like they did broadcasts for bloody everything.
Reloads, Lego broadcasts.
They've been reload events. There's been reload tournaments.
Well, not broadcast though.
Not a broadcast,
broadcasted, not like official Fortnite broadcast, but like it's been broadcast. Why are you guys so slow today, man?
We're just seeing if you're leaking events.
Yeah. You said like this is the this is the official information, so there's also unofficial information that was said. You know, like the clues are there, ladies and gentlemen. You just gotta listen.
Connect the dots, everyone.
Yeah, you guys are truly the worst people I know. On one of the 2 sites on the map, this was interesting to me because they specifically said 2 sites. There's only 1 map releasing, and this first map is 2-sided. Most traditional TAC FPSs, the maps have 2 sites. Valorant, when it came out, decided to be quirky and started adding like 3-site maps and shit like that. So it's interesting to see that, at least so far, it's just going to be 2 sites. Who knows when they develop more maps if that will stay the case. But yeah, one of the 2 sites on the map, while defenders do their best to thwart the device from being planted and detonated. There are no respawns, which again, standard stuff for this type of mode. After 6 rounds, players will swap sides, giving the defenders a chance to be attackers and vice versa. The game is over when either team has won 7 rounds total. So this isn't MR15 like the old CS or MR13 like Valorant and CS now. This is a lot shorter. This is much more comparable to like Call of Duty's Search and Destroy in terms of the length of the games. Again, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out on a casual level and on a more competitive level, because that's where this mode is definitely going. And then there's some more information about the weapons and stuff, and we had like the pictures up. Again, on that, was there anything you guys thought was interesting about any of that, or is this all standard so far?
The number one, I think the pace of the game is interesting, right? Because the one thing I think about when I think about, you know, this game mode is it's going to be way slower. You know, if you obviously Fortnite can be slow as well. If you're the average Fortnite, you know, creative player or reload player, you know, the pace of the games will be getting faster more than anything else, right? You know, you want to end in the action. Whereas this, like, you know, it's going to be, if you die, it's slow. You got to wait. There's spectating and stuff, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of players are absolutely fine with. But the fact that there's less rounds is interesting to me because it shows kind of their thought process behind it. They're not committing to like, okay, you guys are going to play a 45-minute or 30 to 45-minute game. You know, this is a 10 to 15, I would imagine, minute rounds. And I wonder if that's like, could we hold people's attention for that long? If answer, probably not. It's Fortnite, the younger audience, so we're gonna make it shorter. yeah, which is good. My other concern, or maybe probably the only concern I really have outside that was more just a notice, is how is the map gonna be designed, right? Because, you know, the biggest part about these games like Counter-Strike Valorant is map design. Like if one part of map design is wrong, if it's slightly bugged, if there's like overpowering one side to the other, something's not balanced well, it creates such a crap experience for these type of games. So I and this is the first attempt really of doing something like that, and so I'm interested to see how that turns out. Is it going to be well balanced? Is it well designed? If it is right off the rip, that's a really good sign for future maps coming. I imagine that's why they only have one map, so they can focus on that.
Right. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I've played a lot of CS. I've played a lot of Valorant. The one problem I had with Valorant early on is the maps are terrible. I love Valorant. Like, I think it's a great game. I think it's cool. But I always hated the maps, and I always felt like they missed the mark there a bit. Not like so horrible it's unplayable, but never really felt that the Valorant maps were too amazing compared to CS. At least we'll be interested to see how this works. My optimism in this comes from the fact that, like, a lot of people at Epic have experience working on, those types of games. A lot of like devs. I remember this used to be like the main thing people used to say, like back in the day when they thought that Fortnite would become like the best esport ever, right? Was they were like, yeah, there's a bunch of CS people that work at Epic now, and people from other games with experience in this. Now, as much as we don't use that anymore because we quickly realized that that's silly. I'd like to hope that those people use their expertise in making sure like the maps on this and the map design on this feels great. It will be interesting in terms of pacing. You mentioned pacing there, Reese, and I think that's so important because there's so much things that could make this not work like a Valorant or CS type of game like people think in terms of pacing. As much as I think this will be slower paced than most regular Fortnite, whatever you consider regular Fortnite to be, I still think this will be much faster paced than most tactical FPS experiences most people are used to.
Yeah.
Just in the nature of Fortnite and the movement and stuff, like, in other games like CS and Val, like you can walk to like stop sound, and a lot of the game you spend walking and not making sound and not running. What's that going to be like in this? Is like a big thing. Is it going to be like a search and destroy in COD, where like it's very fast paced, you can move around quite a bunch. And you can still like do things to stop sound, but it's like, again, much more faster paced, more akin to Fortnite. The feel for this is going to be really interesting to see like where they take it. Like, what is this going to feel like? Is it going to feel like a CS? Is it going to feel like maybe a bit faster paced, like a Call of Duty? Is it going to be somewhere in between? Like, that I think is the main question we're going to have answered straight away. And I think that will determine a lot of how successful this mode is.
I think the most important term when it comes to these type of games is a term we like to call TTK in the business. And if you've been watching and been playing a lot of old games, it's time to kill, right? How fast can you kill a person in a game like this? I know in Call of Duty, it's very high because they have a very fast-paced game. It's respawning. In CS, it's also very fast if you hit the headshot. And the main thing that I was concerned about when I first saw this was like, okay, is it just going to be like a creative reskin, kind of like what the ESL things have done, or is it going to be something a little bit more? And it seems like from everything they've tweeted and the things that like Hogman has said as well, is it's customized. Like they've done specific weapons for this, they've been specific items for this. The way that you kill people, I think they said I can't remember what exactly they said, but something like it's fast. Like it's basically designed to emulate exactly like CS and Valor is. You one tap, you headshot. But when I see like the weapons, for example, they seem pretty high fire rate. So it sort of is on both sides there. The other thing, like you mentioned as well, I think correctly, Levin, is the movement aspect, I think, is very important when it comes to these type of games. In CS, you can shift walk, you can crouch, you can do a bunch of different things. In Fortnite, you do have the ability to make your character walk, but I don't think any of us has that binded. I think it's like a comma or something. No one ever has that binded, but you can walk like a bot, pretty much. So things like that.
DJ has that bound. I wanna clarify
for like the camping shit, right?
Yeah. So the reason he has that bound is anytime you can use the Mystique skin, and you go into one of those places that has the NPCs, and then you do the NPC walk. So then you blend in. He tried to do that for like 3 weeks to get a clip for a video, and he died every single time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny you say that, but I completely forgot that was possible. So you can walk in Fortnite. We're just all gonna have to bind it.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like, I don't think. It's weird because like
it feels slower than like walking in like other games.
It's also like you're in third person. You don't feel like that experience of going through, and like a bunch of things like that. I know that I saw for like animations wise, there's a lot of like weapon animation and like your gun jiggles and stuff like that. That's not really something that happens as much in CS. Your models are a lot more static. This feels a little bit more realistic the way that they've animated it and changed it. But again, it's just one of those things that you have to try. You have to try playing, and hopefully, in the case of Epic, and like you said, a lot of experience. I saw Evan, for example, it was like Evan, the main developer at Epic, is like, oh, yeah, I've been wanting to make a game like 1.6 for ages, right? So if he has that experience, then they must have tested it internally, and it must feel somewhat similar. But at the same time, they do need to reinvent the wheel because they don't want to be the Fortnite clone.
Right. Yeah, there's gonna have to, because even between like Valorant and CS, there's things that make those games feel very different and give them like unique selling points. And so I wonder where the unique selling point lies with Fortnite, in terms of what they bring out. It doesn't feel like there's anything overtly that they've said that is that unique selling point, unless I'm missing something in this doc. It does just feel, from what they've said at least, like, you know, very much similar to those other games. But we'll see again how it feels. You mentioned the weapons there, Boot.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some leakers take a look at the weapons, and again, it's going to feel so weird because when everybody's watching this, you'll be able to play with the weapons yourselves. But let's take a look at sort of like what the weapons look like. There's some recoils, there's some sounds. I have to say, one of the interesting things here that is being showcased, sorry for the audio listeners here who won't be able to see this, you're not accurate when you're moving, similar to CS and Valorant, or Valorant. You could argue some weapons you're super accurate when you're moving, but with CS, when you're moving, you're not accurate, and it's the same thing here, right? You have to sort of be static for you to be accurate, which very tech FPS, like very un-Fortnite-like.
Well, kind of. I mean, Fortnite does have that to an extent, but nowhere near. You know, like this is tuned to the actual specific game that we're looking at here, and the weapons look sick. Like you know, they are all custom weapons. Seeing first-person mode in Fortnite where it isn't janky is cool. Like to see what it actually looks like as well. And I think, like, I wonder, you know, you're talking about the sprint movement to stop that. Like, I wonder what's the impact of crouching going to be? Can you sprint? And like how does your crosshair look there? Yeah, if you're going to slide, imagine like if you start putting wall kicking and stuff into that. Like now we start seeing those new movement mechanics looking sick and actually like having more application than just in Battle Royale. You know, the next question, you look at these weapons, and like, is people going to lower their sense to play this because it's nowhere near? You don't need, you know, like a build and edit sense kind of high. There's a lot of questions when I look at those guns. They look super sick. I'm actually excited to jump in and try and see what it's like.
Do we know? I've never thought about this in Fortnite, but does counter strafing exist in Fortnite? Like when you go left and you press right instantly, does your aim reset? Or does it still have some time to like close the crosshair? Because if that doesn't exist, this doesn't work, right? Like that's literally the most integral part of CS and Valorant is the ability and the skillfulness of counter strafing and having movement. So like,
for those technically, there's no actual counter strafing in Valorant.
Is there not? Oh,
no, not.
I mean, no wonder it's crap. No wonder, that makes sense. Yeah. But for those of you that don't play Fortnite, or I guess play Valorant as well, in those games or in good games, basically is like, when you jiggle peek a corner, you go through the corner, you like peek to the left, but you can't just stop and then shoot because your aim doesn't reset. So you have to like press the opposite way to like cancel out your movement and then shoot. So there's a lot of skill in like peeking a corner, going, stopping, moving again, and stopping and shooting again. So stuff like that is like big skill gap things that come into those games. I feel like if they had to have introduced that, then they would have had to change the core mechanic without the main battle royale as well, because it doesn't seem like they really do much to like separate the two, right? Like everything that's in battle royale is in creative, and what's going to be in reload is going to be in this, and what's probably going to be in ballistic is going to be the same type of shit that's going to be in the actual battle royale mode. They don't do a job of like separating the way that movement works, so they want it all to feel one-to-one. So I doubt it's going to work like that, which is going to be interesting for how gunplay actually feels.
Well,
go on.
I was going to totally change the subject, and then I realized that's not. So go ahead.
I was just going to say on that one, I'll clarify because I'm sure there'll be some angry Valorant people. In there is counter strafing in Valorant, but like in CS, when you counter strafe, like Boop said, when you press the other bind to move, like if you're going left, you press right. In that interval, when you stop, it's like a
instant reset.
It's like an instant stop. Whereas I'm pretty sure in Valorant, it's more of like a gradual decline. Like there's not that hard stop. You just like slide a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I think for the most part, it'll feel similar, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some core differences, especially with like how they've like designed, you know, like there's like different shooter mechanics and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if they've made some accommodations movement wise. I'm not sure how much is different in any of the other modes like Lego or anything, but like it wouldn't surprise me if there was differences there. Like I know in like the driving mode in Rocket Racing mechanically is different to driving in other modes in Fortnite, right? So I'm sure there might be some give or take there, but I agree that I doubt it will feel like crazy different, right? There's going to be some translation there. But yeah, again, these are questions we're going to have answered.
We'll find out.
I have a big one. Okay. The big one no one's mentioned about this game mode yet is visualized audio. What is visualized audio going to be like? Because, you know, for the ESL game mode, that was obviously a massive concern that people had, and it was, you know, it was a conversation back and forth between, should we have it on for the tournaments and LAN? Should we turn it off? All this kind of stuff. What's that going to look like? Because if visualized audio is on the same way, that defeats so much of the fun and the purpose of the game. If it's on, literally everyone's going to crouch walk all the time.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
I saw Levin's face go, oh no.
Do we care about deaf people playing ballistic mode is the question then, basically, right? Like, do they
personally,
it doesn't exist. I love deaf people, you know, the greatest. But like in the other game, they don't have that in Valorant or anything, so I don't think they really have like handicap friendly type of things or disability friendly type of things in those games. As far as I know, I'm not sure if it does, but maybe it does. I mean, it would ruin it. That's it. Yeah. Simple as that. Like it wouldn't be good.
So the deaf people would ruin Valorant and CS?
No, it would ruin it for the non-deaf people.
Okay, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I'll say FNtasia. I'm not speaking for myself. I'll say FNtasia. I love you, deaf people. We all do.
We don't have deaf viewers. I think
you might just have to take the bullet for this one. You know, you might just have to. We might just have to get it turned off. You know, we might just have to. Apologies.
I feel like
we can't have this
people wouldn't be
on.
listening to a Fortnite podcast. I feel like there's a slight conflict of interest there.
Were you saying we're not like a good to look at and read the subtitles of? Come on.
If you're deaf, you know, put it in the comments.
If you're deaf, let us know.
Yeah, we'll try our best to accommodate you. But yeah,
I don't know what they're gonna do, but we're gonna find out.
You'll already know listening to this.
I mean, in theory, they can't really have it, or like. Worst case scenario, it would be like they significantly reduce the distance of like where you hear it.
Yeah.
Like, you'd only get the pop-up if someone's standing in front, like right on your body, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
An odd question, but I mean, either you guys played Lego or the driving racing mode. Like, does that have a visualized
Lego
audio
does.
on it?
Lego does.
Okay.
I've seen Colombo.
I've not played Lego.
Pop-up.
Yeah, I've not played either. So
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, but yeah.
Racing doesn't have a visualized audio.
It might just be a thing where they turn off in ranked, you know? Like that would make sense. Like just turn off in ranked mode.
Yeah, actually, that doesn't sound too bad actually. And you just work. There's gonna be ranks on rank for this, so we're finally gonna be able to see whether or not like Fortnite can make a good ranked, or whether it is just battle royale is the problem. Spoiler alert, battle royale is probably the problem.
But then, you say that, but then do they just apply the exact same ranking system?
It won't work.
Yeah, but
it's just easy. It's easier for them to make a good ranked when they only have to worry about 10 people.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a lot more black and white. You just you gain points when you win, and then you lose points when you lose. Done. And there's slight performance-based things as well, but yeah.
In all this, to be honest, like we could sit here in Furycraft, and there is one other topic I want to get to before we move on for this. But the one big thing with Ballistic is I wonder how much like focus and resources are going to go into it after it's like comes out. Like we know from what people at Epic have been tweeting publicly, you know, tooting their own horns, whatever. We love you guys.
That always goes well when they toot their own horn on Twitter.
Right. But we know a bunch of resources at Epic have gone to horses, like, which is again hard to like. It's crazy to think about with all the stuff they've been doing this year. When like half the company's tweeting, "Yeah, I've been working on this for 8 months." I'm like, what the fuck? But when it releases, how much focus and effort is going to go into making it like good? Because when Valorant comes out, for example, a bunch of people are playing it, and all the resources are focused on making this game better, right? Yeah. Whereas with Fortnite, after the fact, how much is going to go, like if the ranked is crap, how much is going to be gone into, okay, let's make this better, let's adjust this. If there's bugs on the map, if there is like a glitched OP spot, you know, where you can do like an Olaf Meister boost, hard cut for anyone who's a CS OG, are you going to be able to, are they going to like quickly, like how much is going to go into making sure like this mode is running properly at all times will be interesting to me. I'm assuming it will be fine, but again, Epic is just such a massive beast with so much going on that like, if they are able to put in the resources to keep up and keep updating it at the speed of, you know, other games, and that is crazy impressive. I say other games, mainly like Val, because CS, they don't fucking...
No, that shit will be updated, man.
As long as the skins exist, that's all that matters.
Maybe that's the reason they won't touch it. They'll be like, well, CS don't do nothing, so we'll just leave our game as well, man.
Well, they need to get to a certain point, right? Because, like, you know, CS has a bunch of maps. It has, you know, obviously... I don't know if today also they're dropping the ability to make maps like this in creative too. I don't know if that's a possibility. I know you can do first person mode.
It probably will.
I played first person modes yesterday.
Yeah, I actually saw you playing it, and I actually searched first person. And now, because it was the gun game you were playing. Yeah. Because I searched first person because I wanted to see if there was first person 1v1s with building to test it.
It does exist, yeah.
And they do, but they're like not the proper ones yet.
Yeah, crap.
Yeah. So I was like, I didn't actually see that. But yeah, you got my idea there. But like, surely they're gonna have to update it to a certain point to add maps, right? So like, they need some sort of team working on it. But then my thought process goes to the opposite side of like, what if no one plays it? And like, I think there'll be a player base for it, no doubt. But like, what if they want to put all this time into it and then just like no one plays it in a few months from now? You know,
Fortnite Festival, we already know. Like that's no one plays that shit, right? Like even the battle pass. I mean, there's gonna be an audience for it. See, what they are doing that's smart is like they know there's a generation of us that, well, not all of us, but the real gamers that played CS, you know, as they were growing up, and then the next generation is the Valorant e-daters. That's like the 17 to the 18-year-olds right now, and then now we've got this new generation of Fortnite player that are being introduced to this game mode because you know we've had that progression over the years. So I think that's what they're trying to push towards. The interesting thing is, and we know how much they care about it, is we are all in a private Discord with Epic, right? And they haven't made a ballistic hashtag yet.
It's not out
feedback.
Yet,
it is not out yet, but when Reload came out, they made one like a day before, right? Like there's a Reload one, so maybe that's all true. I don't know, but like we haven't seen anything like question about that yet, or like talked about that yet. So maybe it'll come. We can't say if it'll come, but yeah.
The caveat to that is that it was comp Reload because it's you know the competitive Discord.
True, yeah, so, it does say comp Reload. Yeah,
you know it's not. There's no tournaments announced for this yet, but there was tournaments announced for Reload mode at the time. So there's my caveat to that. And
it is alpha though. It says alpha on the
is Fortnite
ads,
not still an alpha? Is it not in beta?
I think they've got to beta now. Yeah.
What we're gonna be able to play, they've specifically been calling it an early access. So it's like it's not. They've specifically been saying, "Hey, this is not the full release of the mode. This is just the initial version," which might also explain why there is only one map. Like, I think when Valorant was on beta, there was only Bind, maybe, right? Or maybe there was other maps. Someone who's a Valorant nerd will tell me in the comments. But like, that might also, maybe they have other maps ready, but it's just like we're just testing this one and like we're focused on it. Like, this is the earliest iteration of this. And so I wouldn't worry too much about that, I guess.
I gotta know what kind of NDAs they got at Epic Games, because like how have they worked on this for a year and it hasn't been leaked once? You know, I feel like we got Snoop Dogg leaked, Ice Spice, all that shit from Chapter 5 got leaked, but this feels like big news because I've seen it like everywhere. Like everyone is tweeting about it. I watched CS:GO streamers like Onepixel. He's like, bro, this is sick. Like I'm gonna try this out too.
Fortnite yesterday,
yeah, he was playing it because of it.
So like he's getting ready because
it's widespread news. So you know everyone's gonna be looking at this, being like, okay, is this good or crap? And I guess, that's why they have one map, is to see, is there going to be a good response to this? Is it? Okay, then we're going to release more maps and we're going to continue to do update. If not, you know, maybe it's slightly less focus on it.
I think to answer your question or your concern of like, is there going to be an audience for this? Is people going to play this? Absolutely, yes. I think this will be massive.
Always.
Massive. And massive, I guess, you know, there's like variables of like, you know, how what does that mean?
Let me give you a scale. You need to answer, right? On the low side, Fortnite Festival. On the right side, CS:GO Killer. Where are we going on this scale?
So nowhere near Fortnite Festival. And also nowhere near CS Killer. I know this whole thing is going to be titled...
Are you mean we're clickbaiting?
No,
are you trying to tell us we're clickbaiting on FNtasia?
Now we can put on the title.
Oh my god!
There's going to be people in the comments who are like, "Oh my god, like what idiot!" They've not watched up to this bit because no one's watching 30 minutes for Swaffle, but they're going to be watching. So if you are now watching the pod and you see those people in the comments complaining, just link them to this bit here. No, this is not going to be a CS Killer. Everyone thought Valorant was going to be a CS Killer. And if there was ever going to be a CS Killer, you would have thought it'd be Riot Games putting full resources into Attack FPS. And even they couldn't kill CS, because CS is the best fucking game of all time. Sorry if Fortnite people listen to this. I love CS, so I'm, that's my game.
Great game.
I feel passionate about this. I feel passionate. The greatest game of all time.
The greatest game ever made. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen.
So no, it's not going to be a CS Killer. Nothing can kill CS. Fucking ever. But I think this will be the biggest mode they've done since BR. So like, of all the, I think this will be bigger than every other mode that they've released.
Bigger than Zero Builds? Or are you counting that in BR?
I'd count Zero in BR, but like I think this could be Zero Build level. I think this could be Zero Build level if done correctly. Like this could be Zero Build level. I think the biggest, like, there's so many people who are waiting for something like this. Like Boop sort of highlighted onto the amount of people I've seen, and the fact that it's weird. This is why it's really important in terms of what does this actually play like and feel. Because I've seen a bunch of people from like the COD community and like Warzone and like there's so many people who are disgruntled with their games now. Like when I was seeing the stuff from the COD community, I was like, damn, do they hate Activision that much? Like there was COD people celebrating this as if it's like, this is the best day ever. Yes, finally, they're killing our game. And I'm like, what is going on here? So there are loads of people who are looking for this to be good. And I think there's loads of people, when there's that many people looking for something to be good, they're going to convince themselves it's good even if it's not. Like low-key, you know? There's going to be people who like force themselves to play this and enjoy it in that way. So I think there'll be a lot of people playing this. I'm one of those people. I will just be playing this, whether it's shit or not. Like I will be playing this.
Well, if it's shit, you probably won't be. But like, you're going to try it at least for... Okay, we'll see. Well, the thing is, it's crazy you mention it, but like, yes, all other games are just like us. They hate the fucking company that make the games. I don't personally. I love Epic Games. They're the greatest. Same. But like a lot of those people, like, you know, they look to these companies and like, okay, they're not doing things that we want, right? CS, they're not updating the game for shit. Valorant, people don't really care about Valorant, so like let's move on for that one. And then and then Call of Duty has like a big cheater problem now as well. So like all those guys are looking at it as like, yeah, these companies aren't doing anything. We're doing the same. We're looking at Epic. Yo, what's happening to the cheaters? You know? And now they've done an update for that. So like they're actually making things happen. So a lot of the time, a lot of pros always wish, I just wish something came and just killed Fortnite. So yeah, a lot of other communities are going to be looking at this. So I think there's a lot of pressure for Epic to sort of deliver on it. And for Reese's question, everyone's going to make that comparison to CS and Valorant. I don't see a world where the gunplay is going to be as smooth. I think it's still going to feel Fortnite-y. It's still going to feel a little bit awkward because it is the same sort of engine. I think it's very difficult for them to emulate it completely. And if they did, people would just say it's a plain copy, and then people would just like sort of brush it off, right? So they have to make it slightly different to a point where it feels different, so it can't be one-to-one to those other games. Not Fortnite Festival, not CS Killer. If I had to put a number on it of like how many people are playing this, because that's what we always do, right? We have like 1.4 million people playing OG every day. I say after 6 months, this game mode has like 100k people every day playing it. That's my guess.
That'd be like, really good though.
I think like peak.
That's
so like for comparison, Valorant. Is that
ranked Zero Build does way less than that.
Yeah. So Valorant for comparison has 4 million. So I'm looking at Valorant Tracker, which is, I don't know if that's reliable, but like it has 4 million people tracked in one day. So like if it has 100,000 peak at some point, maybe that's like 1 million people that play it every single day. So like, yeah, maybe that's really good. And the main thing for that is obviously, like you said, is how good and how fun will ranked feel. Like, are you going to feel good about ranking up in this game? Or you're not going to feel good and people have no point to grind it? Literally, I play League of Legends every single day because I want to get the fuck out of, you know, platinum and get into diamond. That's my personal goal, you know? But if people have that similar sort of sentiment in this game mode, then there's no reason why it should fail, as long as it's fun to play.
So here's the thing, right? This will be a game where, you know, a lot of people will just be filling as well for the matchmaking. So now that they've added the text chat option in, get ready to see some crazy slurs. Like, this shit is...
we tested that yesterday, right, Reese?
Yeah. Boop already sent me a slur to test, which is insane. I screenshotted it, by the way, just in case anyone wondered.
Reese also
just to
sent
make
me
sure.
one. It says we have such trust for each other.
I actually sent him the word boobs, so, you know, I'm quite an innocent man myself.
Did it go through?
It did go through, yes. So there's a profanity filter you can turn on and all that kind of stuff as well.
We're going to test everything, but like most of it did.
Is it like, because the thing is, well, to be careful of, is it going to be like fucking Xbox game chat where like, if you send a swear word or something and someone reports you, then you're just banned?
There is a report feature, but I don't know, there's a you can turn profanity filter off. So obviously they allow it, but then there's... If you look at it, there's like a square where you type and you see all the chats, and there's not an enter button. There's literally a report button and then an exit. So like you have to hit enter to send the message. So obviously they're very aware of the fact that you're going to need to report people in here, since it's literally a big yellow button. It's the first thing you would click.
And there's no specifics. You just press report and do you want to report? Yes. Boop. Done.
I'm curious how their report system is going to work with text chat, just because some report systems are like somewhat lenient where like you're good as long as no one reports you're good, but it's like the example being Xbox is just because Xbox is so great, because if you just bait people into swearing in the Xbox chat, you can just get them text banned like so easily. So
I'm gonna slight tangent here, right? But you know, my Xbox username is Resub, and I changed it when I changed my my branding to this, because I just used to have random Xbox Live usernames and things like that. And what I never knew was that people, because I'd never go on my Xbox and check my messages, people have been like sending me Xbox Live messages for years, and I'd never known anything. And some of them were just like, you know, oh, love your content, you know, just nice things like that. There's just, you know, just like, you know, you go through your random message requests on Twitter or something, you got like random ones. But then I started scrolling back like really far, and there's messages from like when I was playing the last time I played Halo or whatever, and it's not from someone who recognizes me, but it's just someone who's just like voice recorded shouting slurs at me, calling me awful. And I was like, this is what voice messages are about, man. Like, I have this saved 3 years later. I can go back. If this, like, who knows who this random dude is? But I have so many years of like random messages on him. That's obviously not something that we're gonna have in Fortnite, but still funny.
That is peak gaming, is being able to send a voice recorded message to a person that was killing you in Call of Duty after they 1v1 you in Rust. Oh my god.
Crazy.
Prime time.
So anyway, those two combined, people, I imagine if you're filling in ranked, you're not going to have a lot of people using their mics, because it's just not, I don't know, it's not that common.
I hate
in
that
Fortnite.
when people don't use that shit though,
That's
like in those game modes.
yeah.
So you have to use a mic.
I
mean, League of Legends gets away with it, but you don't need it to like call shit as much, right? Yeah. It's a lot more faster paced. So yeah, if you play ranked, turn on your mic. That's FNtasia messaging here.
Yeah. How good is voice chatting? I don't really ever use voice chatting Fortnite just because it's been a terrible experience. You just get kids playing fucking YouTube down their mic.
True.
Yeah, and in EU, it's like obviously you have a massive mix of languages as well. Like in NA,
and there's Counter-Strike too. You get
other games.
It's just
that's a good point though, because like I wonder how it shines through in terms of like Fortnite. Like my personal experience of voice chat in Fortnite, right, is that you go into creative and there's just like a bunch of like genuine children, like genuine, just like actual children. And so if I'm queuing up and like my teammates are just like babies,
squeakers,
like, I low-key don't even want comms. I just, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna give me what I need communication wise. Whereas like when you're playing like a CS or Val and you start talking to the random like Spanish guy, he is just like a guy, like
he's probably 20,
20, you know, and he's like willing to talk English sometimes. If he is, some Spaniards maybe a bit, you know, stubborn with it, but like most of them are like, yeah, I'll talk English. But it's the fucking 9-year-olds like Czechoslovakian, or not Czechoslovakian anymore, is it? Fucking
Serbian kid.
Yeah, the 9-year-old Serbian kid, is he gonna like start speaking English in our fucking ballistic game? I don't, maybe
you know Queasy 11. This is the first time in this type of game we might get recognized as well. It's like, oh, 11, you know, clicks. Oh, it's 11. Say the thing, 11. Say the thing. Moments.
Well, it's funny because again, another tangent. when Valorant first came out, obviously it was all like half the community was just Fortnite people would quit. So genuinely in Valorant, I used to get recognized in every single game. Every single game of Valorant I played, I'd get recognized, and people be like, "Oh wait, you're 11-6, aren't you?" And I'm like, I get recognized more on Valorant than I do playing Fortnite, like in creative and stuff. I was like, it doesn't make no sense to me.
The 11 meme is still massive.
Why do people say that?
But the 11 meme?
Yeah, people say that's like a thing that I always see people say. Why do people say that?
Bro, you're so old.
How do you? Aren't you 22? How am I more brain rot than you?
Yeah, you can't be caught up with the brain rot memes. That's crazy that you're not caught up with it.
It's the ninja thing. The low taper meme. What?
You can say it, bro. Come on.
Low taper fade meme is massive still.
Have you not heard? Say?
Yeah, like that's literally the whole. That's literally like Fortnite.
Basically, he won't let the fucking joke die, and then now people are just like memeing about the fact that he won't let the joke. Well, he's like doing it intentionally as a meme.
But you know what's massive still?
Yeah.
That's why the boot peak was massive. That was the joke.
I'm so glad I have no clue what you guys are talking about. Like, this is really sad. As your friend,
what?
No, guys, wait.
Cut
the podcast. I was like, as your friend, guys, I'm really like, are you guys good? Why?
We're better than you.
We're
really sad.
See, this seems like you don't care. You don't do the audience research. No, like for my really job, I need to be integrated into the shit. You know,
like you spend all day online.
I don't know.
That's not true. That's just
you're literally playing 1v1.
You're in denial, Levin. You're in denial.
No, but I don't. What, guys? What? Okay, wait. Boop. I understand. You got a Twitch chat. You are unprotected from the wielding of the internet brain rot. So you kind of have an excuse. Reese, why do you know about this?
Market research, bro.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's get. All right.
Just because you don't care about your job, Levin, don't blame that onto us. You know.
You gotta know what the people are after. You gotta know what they'd want to give them it.
This is really scary. Okay. Well, with Ballistic, guys, what is the peak? What is the future for this? Are we going to see this?
Is there a boom or a doom?
Okay, I do know that one. I do know that one, son. But that's because those guys, they're getting put like everywhere commercially. Like they're fucking doing everything.
Super Bowl commercials and shit. Probably. Yeah,
they're like doing a bunch of shit. But yeah, it's just gonna be like a big competitive mode. I saw a bunch of pros tweeting, looking for 5, I can IG. I saw Queez like, I can IGL. I saw Venom putting like his like Valorant and CS achievements. Like, I was level 10 Face It and Radiant in Valorant. That's a lie, by the way. He wasn't Radiant in Valorant. But, a lot of people putting, their like achievements in other games. Are we going to see this be a big competitive mode in the Fortnite scene?
Well, I already saw Hogman say they have no intention doing that at the minute. Or like they've not tried to do that yet or anything. Because whether that's actually true or not, who knows? But he made a tweet. I think he was replying to DJ. Actually, I can't remember who he was replying to, but he basically said, "Is this going to kill ESL, or is this as a replacement for ESL? Because it's a very similar game mode, right? And ESL have created their own map, they have their own system for it, all this kind of stuff." And basically, he said there's no intention to do that at the minute. Now, whether that means we're not going to host tournaments, I think there's no way they're not going to host tournaments on this game mode. Like, no chance. But by proxy, it might end up going that way. If it's good, the problem we saw with like open style tournaments like this is there's just too many teams and the skill level's too high. Where do you remember, was it like the creative box fighting tournaments that were like 1v1? It's like you just had to win every game and be perfect. And, there was like no tiebreakers. The open format system for tournaments doesn't necessarily work that well. So like for the future, for like, they have to almost redesign a new tournament system as well in order to make this work, which I'm sure if it's really popular, they would do as well. Because that would be sick. Like imagine you're almost doing like knockout bracket style tournaments instead that are open. Like a 2-round tournament. Imagine you had like, you just had to, if you lose a game, you're out. And then... it gets down to the top 1,000 teams or something like that, and then you play like, either some sort of like massive elimination bracket or I don't know, something cool like that would be fun.
I think League has that now. I think that a lot of these other games are trying to do open style tournaments. I think CS now has like integration into the majors. You have like RMRs and stuff like that. I think League of Legends also has like open style tournaments you can play and queue up with your friends. I forgot what it's called, but there is systems like this in place. I think it's interesting that Hogman actually just chose to reply to that comment because he didn't have to, you know?
Yeah.
So like the fact that he chose to reply to that maybe says something about, you know, like what's at play. I think it makes sense if they just say, you know what, ESL, we're just going to adopt into it. Except there's obviously a conflict with ESL and Blast in terms of like the competitive scene. So maybe that wouldn't happen. But we've had ESL and Saudi and all those guys on the FNtasia broadcast being advertised before. So it's not a big stretch, but obviously broadcast and then actual Fortnite is like a big difference, like separate entities at that point. I'd be surprised if they didn't integrate. I'd be surprised if they didn't host tournaments. They're going to host tournaments. They're going to see what's going to happen. At the end of the day is how do they monetize something like that? Like, is a skin that you're wearing that you can't see good? No. We added shoes. I can't see my shoes when I'm playing Ballistic. So what is the
have you not seen all of them
raps,
tweeting about raps? Like every Epic employee, as well as them being like, "Hey, this mode is sick," they've all been tweeting, "Hey guys, raps. Hey guys, raps." And from the clips we've seen of first person, the raps are fucking sick. Like, there's so many raps I've collected over the years that I don't care. I don't use. I have my raps on like randomized.
Yeah,
I don't even like pay attention to my raps. But
Can't
now I'm gonna go in and look because I'm sure I have some sexy raps.
7 years of them.
Holy shit! I'm sure I have some sick raps. So like,
you get a blue gem AK rap or something.
Trust me, they're gonna be able to monetize the crap out of this if this is again, you know, whether it's successful or not, they're gonna be able to monetize because raps are gonna be important in this. Yeah. That's all you're gonna see.
It's gonna be a battle pass.
Yeah, maybe there'll be something.
One question, something that's always comes up in first-person shooters. Can you see your legs? Right? This has been a question in like
CS
almost every single game, right? Because then if you can see your legs, this is like the best promo for the fucking Jordans and the sneakers and the shoes ever, right?
You have the J's
now
on.
You can actually see them when you look down. You know?
I think you're gonna be able to.
Probably, yeah.
I think there's no way Epic makes you not be able to see. Like, if there's a chance you could see your legs and shoes, there's no way they're gonna be like, let's keep it out. I just don't see that. Like, there's a monetization option there. Surely they're gonna go with it.
CS recently added this, so CS in CS now you can see your shoes in CS2, and everybody was like, because they want to sell fucking boots and shit, you know. And so like 100%, you're gonna be able to see your shoes. Your raps are gonna be super important. Epic are just milking more fucking money out of this, bro. It's fucking disgusting.
So,
I'm done.
Just bring cases. Fuck it. I want to open a Fortnite case. Like, let us gamble.
Oh, the FTZ.
After that lawsuit.
They're hearing it. They're hearing it. Oh, yeah, guys.
That's actually so funny that's actually been happening.
Guys. Yeah, no way.
The amount of people abusing that FTC shit is insane, too. It's like, you guys are crying about prize pools going down, but at the same time, you all want your $500 from the V-Bucks that you bought, you know? Like, you can't have both ways.
Yeah. Actually, quick thing. I actually opened Hogman's tweets here just to show exactly what the responses are. Firstly, someone said, are there going to be tournaments? If so, how do they work? And Hogman said, maybe. We have ideas, but ultimately are focused on releasing the new mode in early access. So it sounds like there won't be any tournaments soon for it. Then the one he replied to was, DJ. DJ said, guessing this is aiming to replace ESL type cups, right? And Hogman said, that's a big leap in which we're not ready to consider at the moment. So again, not ready to consider whether that's actually true or not. We'll see, especially since they had ideas for tournaments. Then said, this is purely meant to be an additive way to play Fortnite and nothing is being sacrificed for it to exist. So, yeah, basically, no tournaments anytime soon, but I'm sure if it's successful, they'll be fast to put ones on.
If it's successful,
true, though?
What?
Nothing's being sacrificed because we had this discussion when OG came out, like spreading themselves thin. Like, this is another game mode they're gonna have to fix shit for and develop things for, right? And there's not many good developers at Epic, at least from what I see on Twitter, right? Like, it's brother Evan fixing it all. So I don't fully believe that they're not losing anything by adding another game mode because I feel like they're gonna this is another game mode to fix and update and things like that that goes at the cost of development for battle royale or competitive and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, they just will hire more people. I'm sure they already have been hiring more people to deal with all the demands of this, so I don't worry too much about that. I feel like the big thing with this, when it comes to like will there be tournaments for this, like I can see through Hogman's humble gimmick.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna read between the lines and like try and like build a picture based off of what he said, it feels very much like, hey, if you take all the messaging into consideration, the whole this is early access, by the way. Hey, early access. Clearly, they have a vision to do those things, but they still have like questions about the mode. Like they still want to see how this plays out. And if it plays out, I guess anything to plan for them, or if things are successful in some way, then yeah, they'd push forward, do tournaments. When it comes to the ESL side of things, because again, those are two different things. Are they going to do tournaments versus are there going to be tournaments like the ESL and Blast and people like that getting involved? Two different things. I can see a path for those things to exist though. However, it will depend on what tools they give. So, for example, we saw the big change of ESL this year, right? It was like, we're going to make our own UEFN maps and make that the mode that people play. So this, in its current iteration, wouldn't replace ESL because EFG, the company who run all that stuff, would still want their own maps. So they'd have to be able to make, they'd have to be able to make their own map where they can do their own sponsorships, make their own money from it, UEFN-wise, and then put it in. Realistically, that's probably what they're going to want to do based off of how they've been moving as a company this year. I think there's room for that to exist while still having other people come in and do like official type broadcasts for whether it be Blast or whoever the hell else is in esports that come in and do. I think there's space for all of that. Like this game mode, if goes to plan, can be its whole ecosystem. And I think that's why they have to take time with it, because you know, you mentioned how other games are having their own open tournament systems. A lot of the other games, I've not tested out all of them, but like a lot of other games, I think have struggled to get it right to the level that Fortnite has. Like Fortnite revolutionized esports with that. Like there were not many games that had such massive open tournament systems and open tournament ecosystems. And as much as I would assume Epic try and keep that trend going, there might just also be an opportunity for them to just do something completely different. Like they might actually go the other way and say, well, we already have such a big successful open tournament system. We can have fun and mess around and maybe have something that's maybe a bit more closed off, a bit more like traditional esportsy, while doing the things that I think they know work, because they have so much evidence out there to work with things. So genuinely, I'm super excited. I just want to see what they do. I'm excited to see what they cook up. Yeah. I hope the mode is good. Like I really hope this like is something that is sticky and people want to play non-stop, and we have hundreds of thousands of people playing it every day. Because if it is, the scope for a competitive scene to build up and for, you know, people like myself to get involved in it is so exciting. Like my dream is that, my genuine dream now is that I fucking get up on the stage in like 2025 or 2026, whenever the fuck it is, and I shout, "Are you ready?" for the BR crowd, walk off the stage, and then the next weekend, I'm doing it again, but for fucking Ballistic. Oh my
Double
God.
Payday, baby.
Double pay.
All right,
bro just wants to be in Counter-Strike. Bro, just get out
bro just wants a real esport for once. Some of this Mickey Mouse shit, zero build bullshit.
Look at how much he's pushing this mode just so he can get himself into Counter-Strike.
Guys, it's gonna be good, guys. Please. Also, I want to be the commentator.
Look, guys, if I can cast Ballistic mode, then they'll see I can cast attack FPS, and then I can go and do Counter-Strike. I see through your plan, bro.
Leave the Fortnite scene forever.
Epic Games, you hearing this? You got to get rid of Ballistic mode. If you don't get rid of Ballistic mode, Levin's going to be gone. He's going to go into a different game.
We can't lose him.
I know, he's too valuable.
You can.
Who's going to give you moments?
Moments, man. It's all about moments, man.
But there's one more thing I wanted to say is that with all of these game modes coming out, didn't they try on Twitch to make a different category for Zero Build, and then no one used that shit? I wonder if this is one of those things where they're going to make it like a Ballistic category. Because like, if I want to watch Fortnite, I just go click Fortnite. But if I want to watch Ballistic, that's completely different, right? And then Rocket Race, is there a Rocket Racing Twitch category?
No, they'll keep it in Fortnite. Because it's like Roblox. I think with like all of those platform games, you just keep it, just the name of the platform is the category. But again,
it's so vastly different. I feel like it should be.
But it depends on the scope and the scale, right?
Yeah, if it's big,
like, if it becomes big, then they will make a separate category. It's like Warzone and COD. Like there's a different category for Call of Duty and Warzone, right? On like Twitch and shit. But if it's
those
not that
were
big,
two different games to start with.
Well, they were, right? But now it's always packaged into the one, right? But like, I think it depends on how big it is.
This will also be a separate game mode because they're bringing out like a light mode client, right? So you can choose what you want to download. So you can just choose to download Ballistic, or you can choose to download Red versus Blue only if you play that shit, or you can just Battle Royale. So these are like, they're definitely just making it like they're giving you an array of options to download. So if you just want to play Ballistic, you can just play that shit. So I don't see how this ever fails, by the way. Like there's no way, like even if it kind of goes shitty, like it can't fail because Epic's gonna put resources to make it work. They've been working for a year. It's gotta be decent enough to have some sort of audience for it. I'll be playing it. I'll try it out. I'll give my fair comparison after my years of high-level Counter-Strike gameplay. I will be the #1 opera in Fortnite.
All right. I'm going to be the best lurk player. I'm an Unreal lurker. And
Yeah, rebind that shit.
True, yeah. All right. Enough about Ballistic. We spent a fucking hour talking about it.
Imagine it's so shit after we do it for 55 minutes. It's like the worst fucking thing ever. We've been yapping about it for 55 minutes. Oh my god.
Depressed. I'd be in pain. Like in absolute pain. All right. Let's do super thanks real quick. Let's get through the super thank. I don't think we have many this week, so we'll get through it quick and we'll talk some FNCS stuff. Do we have the super thank? I know that wasn't a proper order, but you know. We'll get to it. We have Young Roo who says, I think Epic 100% added simple edit for the girlfriends and the actual unks 30 plus.
Okay.
There should be a delay on it.
You need to mention the emojis, Levin. You can't read this without the emojis.
Okay. I think Epic 100% added simple edit for the girlfriends fairy emoji and the actual unks smoking cigarette emoji 30 plus in brackets. There should be a delay on it, and it shouldn't really ever be implemented into competitive flexing emoji in competitive manner, because it does have potential to be broken. Crying emoji. If used correctly with no delays. All the mid to high school players, 100 emoji, who play pubs with their girlfriends, fairy emoji, and older friends, cigarette emoji, understand the struggle of them not being able to get out of the box emoji, or make a simple edit. This mechanic cogwheel emoji is perfect for them, and it should only be made for them, not high skill stocks emoji competitive players. All Frick Pro controller players controller emoji.
Also
Frick Pro. Bloody, this is a terrible read. Holy
what the fuck is this? I can't understand a single thing he's saying here.
Terrible to read.
I don't understand.
Holy crap. Controller players, just hit your edits. You don't need simple edits. White heart emoji, laughing emoji, celebration emoji, talking emoji, 100 emoji.
I'm impressed by your knowledge of the emojis. Firstly, I must say, you know, before we go on to answer and speak another hour on simple edits, impressive use of emojis in this. I must say, like creative. Like if I'm using different emojis, you know, maybe as an older gentleman, maybe I'm just out of the game. Maybe I don't have the talent, but the smoking emoji for an older man. You know, a bit of cogwheel for mechanics. I was like, you know, there's some creativity in there. I don't know if it's just typing the word mechanic and then waiting to see what the auto button next is. Like, oh, is there a wheel? If not,
fuck me, you old Reese. Jesus Christ,
maybe Young Roo's a mastermind.
Emojis, mate.
No, but sometimes you type a word and then it suggests an emoji to you. So I'm saying if he's doing that, lack of creativity, not as cool. But if this is off the dome, Young Roo, yeah, he might have a future in emojology.
That is someone's job at Apple to make emojis, to be fair.
True. Anyway, so the actual answer. I understand Levin's reading of this message was subpar at best. But, you know, it was a tough task. It's like more difficult than reading Shakespeare, some would say.
It's because he doesn't do his market research into emojis.
He doesn't
know the brainwash shit. Come on.
He doesn't know brainwash. He doesn't know this. Basically, the summary of this is don't use simple edit in competitive. It should have a bit of delay. It's nuts for controller players. Get good controller players. And yeah, I kind of agree. That's it. I think that's the summary of that.
I still don't understand what the hell he's asking, I'll be honest. I don't know.
Basically he's saying that I think in the hands of average and older players, simple edit just ends up being a little too good. It's too easy for them to get good with it. So it shouldn't be in competitive.
Well, I mean, like I said, the baseline level of skill should be at a certain level so that people feel related to the gameplay that they see. I think that's the main thing for me.
All right. Cheers, mate. We have another one before we move on to the next one. And this was one that was added 5 hours ago.
Oh, so we missed it.
10K, who was the one that called you out for your Tory rhetoric, Reese,
Oh,
a couple episodes ago. He said the Tory hub rhetoric was him saying that it is in human nature to cheat. I will not go on a spiel, but unfortunately, Reese Hub, this is Tory rhetoric. Also, please shine a light on the recent PlayStation Cup. All right. Well, we're not going to get into the. We're not going to get into the first part of that. This is not that podcast. The second part, PlayStation Cup. Did any of you guys watch? Or play?
No.
I watched the opens. I didn't watch the finals.
Oh, the finals are the best bit. That's where all the teaming is.
No, it wasn't much teaming. I don't know.
You didn't watch it. How would you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it was builds though, so I guess people weren't. I wasn't. You really need to watch like OCE 0 build PlayStation Cup finals. So
that's what the lowest of lowest scum
exactly.
Is,
That's where you really see the good shit. So there's builds. It's already been, and there's good money in it now. So like maybe people are trying a little harder. There's a lot of pros that played it. I saw Malibu could do really good on NA, and he was basically like, it's a meta that with the Void Mask, if you have your lineups correctly and stuff like that, you could do really, really good without just by knowing the rotations and things like that without actually having to fight. He was like 150 ping and he came second, which is what, like 3 or 4K or something like that. So that's really all I saw from it.
So I saw that Mumsy won it, and I think Mumsy's a player that I've been talking about a little bit because this kid is console, but he plays KBM console. But he's a console pro on KBM. So this kid has like 15,000 earned from like console tournaments in the last 2 years. But he's on KBM and he's winning these tournaments as well. So this Mumsy guy is low-key kind of the truth. Unfortunately, he did get 4-0'd by Queasy yesterday at Seaport City in Eval Cup. So maybe less of the truth. But yeah, shout out to Mumsy. Very, very good player. Because, that's why all the kids that used to be KBM console players, like Video, end up being really good pros as well. So, like, this guy, someone's going to pick him up as like a good third.
Get him a PC.
He has a PC.
Oh.
But he just started on console and was crazy on console.
Okay,
he just does well in the console tournament, so.
He's probably not that good then, is he?
No. Just say you hate the French.
I'm saying, like, if it was like, oh, you don't have a PC, but then like I did the maths, man. You're like 15K in 2 years. Just get a job, mate.
That was. I wasn't sure if it was 2 years. I just recognize him.
Next super chat. I guess go on.
The problem is, the next one is gonna have more emojis because it's fucking Benny.
Oh, it's fucking Benny, mate.
Go on, Quartz. Let's see the next one. You let us down. Levin, you look like a teddy bear emoji. And love you, Reese. Tongue out emoji.
I'll go fuck myself.
Thank you, Benny.
It's with 2 S's. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that tongue emoji looks. It's too it's like looking at us with the tongue open. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
You're just annoyed it doesn't love you, mate.
True. I wish someone would.
You don't look like a teddy bear, and it doesn't love you.
I wish someone would tongue emoji me, man.
All right.
Number
2, Agent Gabe. Shout out to Gabe. Gabe said, I know I'm typically an NA guy, as Levin has mentioned, but can we please have a talk about Mr. Savage for a bit? Pulled a clearly washed mongrel out of retirement, qualified to 2 FNCS grands, then this new chapter has gotten a win in the Evaluation Cup and with the highly underrated Panzer, and now has gotten first in the FNCS trial. I find this very impressive. At this rate, he'll get an FNCS win before clicks. I hope they call to grands and he places well this season.
Bold. Okay, actually, question on that. Firstly, his run has been very impressive right now.
He's talking facts.
He's been doing some good shit. He's speaking facts. Who is more likely to win an FNCS? Clicks or Mr. Savage?
Sadly, Clicks, as long as Mr. Savage keeps playing a mongrel.
Ooh.
You take that boot. Do it for the TikTok.
What am I gonna take that? What do you mean?
Shout out Mongrel for the TikTok clip. Come on. We need
that. Dude. I mean, me personally, I think Mongrel. I mean, you're talking about Clicks versus an FNCS winner of Mongrel. Savage is playing with an FNCS winner of Mongrel. The guy who carried Tayson. You're talking all this crap, mate. First of all, relax. Stand back for my boy Kyle. Second of all, honestly, right now, I'm feeling more of the Savage vibe of winning an FNCS first than like before this year. I would have said Clicks, and that's not me glazing because I want to get extra viewers or don't want to get hated on. I genuinely feel like there could be an odd season where we could see a Savage and Mongo win, because Trios is just one of those game modes where it can happen. The vibe I'm been getting from Clicks, you know, like he did well in the FNCS trial, and then he just like took 2 weeks off, isn't playing scrims anymore, has a girlfriend now, you know, all that stinky shit. Like, no one needs that as a competitive player. Although Mongo is basically getting married now on Instagram as well. For those of you in the know of the Fortnite player gossip, you know, like he was holding some girl's hand at a restaurant. Very big news for the gossip enjoyers.
Okay,
so now the analysis here is slightly
might be worse than you, actually. Sorry, I'll take that back. Bloopers were way worse.
I don't feel like I'm in the same category as Boop anymore, man.
Oh, dude, I get fucking indoctrinated by this shit every time. Boop, what do you think about Mongo's girlfriend, bro? What do you think about Savage breaking up with his girl? What do you think of the gyat, dude? Like, it's out of control. Generally, I think I'm not pandering.
Nah, you're pandering,
I don't know,
bro.
I think it's close. I think it's closer than you think it is.
I don't think I don't
think Clicks can win an FNCS with this trio. That's what I'm gonna say.
I agree. I don't think, and it's funny because we're going to go into FNCS trial, and I had a take to give about their trio, and so we'll get to that eventually. But the reason why I say you're pandering and that there's no way is because we literally like 2 months ago, and I know trios is different to duos, but we literally like 2 months ago saw Clicks on a team that was capable of winning an FNCS and were close to winning an FNCS. We've not seen Mongo and Savage do anything close to that. And yes, they just won FNCS trial. It's a fucking open cup. Like, let's get serious here. You know, it's great. It shows that they're much better now than we think they are. But like, what have you seen that actually suggests that they're anywhere near close to winning? Whereas with Clicks, at least we've seen that if he can get the right teammates, which he can, like Clicks could finesse his way into like a really good team on NA and win an FNCS. Whereas Mongo and Savage are never going to be able to. We just watched them struggle to get a good third for like a month.
So the main reason I have now, I think, is because of the competition that's currently in EU. I think there's like a lot of differentiating teams that could potentially win it. Whether in NA, I feel like there's 1 or 2 straight winners. So like when there's a lot of options, those guys are always clashing with each other on top of Mongo and Savage as well. But then there's games where they can just, you know, like the way that the games are set up right now with high ground and how easy it seems to be winning games from high ground, it seems like the way that they play could just very well bring them into a situation where they could have a chance at it. It's not like I'm going to put them at the favorites at the top. It just, I think in the current scope of things, NA seems a lot more set in who's going to win rather than EU. I can see so many different teams in EU winning that the chance of a Mongo Savage win isn't out of reach. I think the chance of a Clicks win is out of reach. I don't think it's happening.
Resub, what's your take on this, Resub?
My take is better than all of yours, of course. And that is that the only thing that matters when talking about who is better is who is placed higher in an FNCS Grand Finals ever. And Mongrel has won an FNCS Grand Finals, and Savage is second in Chapter 2 Season 6. Clicks' best is 4th. Therefore, by proxy of the only analysis that counts, Savage and Mongrel have a better chance of winning than Clicks.
Let's go. Number 1, JKC. Let's bring it back. Thank you, Gabe. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
JKC number 1 says, W tongue twisting, guys. I trust you all saw the tweet on it. Can't believe we have Mongrel winning a Fortnite tournament again before GTA 6.
So I was actually going to make a short on like Mongrel hasn't won a tournament in 1,000 some days, but he actually won an Opens with Mr. Savage in like April or something like that. So it totally just ruined the video. If I'd done it with that tournament,
was it performance eval?
It was a performance eval Opens or something like that.
I remember that.
If I remember, something like that. So like if I'd done it at that moment, then it would have been like 3 years before he'd won one. But now I was like, it's like 6 months since he last won one. So he kind of ruined that for us. But now this is more like, obviously it's still open, say the FNCS trial. So firstly, him winning performance eval is kind of bullshit because it's just winning one game and having the best average placement after that out of 3 other teams. Still awesome, still impressive, but it is ultimately just like winning a game. Winning the FNCS trial is more impressive because obviously it's an open tournament. It has 3 hours long. You still need to be incredibly consistent to be able to do good in the trial. So that's a great sign. But as we well know, teams who win opens don't necessarily always carry over into like a set lobby with like the same teams. And Mongo and Savage have yet to do good in a set lobby. Hopefully this is like, there's a step forward in that. And DJ was watching a lot of Panzer. And apparently Panzer is actually just like the perfect player. Like
he's been winning everything of Malabuka for a year.
Yeah,
on
all the like zero builds cups and stuff. But it's like he is a phenomenal. You know how you think like watch a NAS and you're like, this is a no mistake player who's just same thing with Panzer. You know, it's the way you think about like Malabuka plays, where Malabuka just plays the game like 10 hours a day, like in BR mode and all this kind of stuff. And it's like he's not a creative, flashy player. He just doesn't really make many mistakes. And Panzer like seems to be the exact same kind of guy. So seems like a really well fit trio for that. And I think the success speaks for itself.
I think that the main thing that I'm worried about is Panzer just seems so fucking bored. Every time he plays with them, that guy he doesn't want to say anything. He's just sighing his way through the games. They just do well, you know. If they didn't do well, he would have been gone already. I swear to God, he would have been just gone. But they're just doing good. He's from Russia, I think. I think he's Russian. I'm pretty sure.
He's either Russia or Ukraine. He's in that.
It's yeah. We always.
I know he's CIS, but I just didn't know exactly where.
Yeah, I believe he's Russian because I think he's moved to Serbia or something as well. Like
the only reason I wanted to bring it up is just because like I've noticed a trend of those types of people, especially in other games, where like they do just sound like that sometimes. You know?
Just nonchalant. They're just chill.
Yeah, like you know, like I had a friend I used to play CS with, and like you would think he didn't want to be alive anymore. But that was just like him. Like, he was just chilling, you know. Like
he is Russian. He is Russian. There you go. Yeah, let's look at his Gamepedia. Is that? Yeah.
There you go. So that just seems like his demeanor. Even like some of the other ones. If Malabuka wasn't shouting as much, you'd probably say that about him too, because he can sometimes be a bit like, you know, but probably not as much as Panzer.
I mean, reading his tweets, it's like the same kind of thing. They're like 4 words long, most of them.
He's got the cow gamer gene.
Like when he won the tournament with what'd you call it, with Savage, he just put first at Mongrel at Savage. Like that was it. That was the thing, you know. So the aura, the Panzer aura is crazy.
Oh god. Yeah. Well, look, let's get into the FNCS talk then, because we had the FNCS trial take place on the weekend. You played it, right, Reese? You DJ Tomsy, you guys played it?
We certainly played.
Yeah,
we were in those lobbies.
So was I.
Not successfully. So what was funny is we dropped. I don't know any of the names. So let me quickly open the map so I can give people a visual of this. To the north of the map, there's like 2 POIs. There's Pump Power, probably the worst spots of all time. Magic Mosses, which is like a forest, and then there's like a building to the north of that. That has a slurp truck in it.
That's a stinky noble split.
Yeah, well, the actual draw, and that whole north side, like we looked at some of the stats of like who, you know, like where's contested and what, and from the eval that had like no one in it and had a super good drop. After the fact, I looked at Assyrian to see who was actually landing there. It was one of the hottest drops. It was like one of the places where the most deaths occurred, which we can absolutely confirm was true. But yeah, we basically played. It was one of the worst tournaments of all time. We hadn't played a single game of like. I played maybe 10 games of this chapter because I was making content and stuff. Also, just switched my binds. We hadn't played a game as a trio, hadn't tested a drop spot, literally figured it out 5 minutes beforehand, died every single game. Every one of us milked all the time. We played one end game together, and it was awful. And it was funny because it wasn't the fact that I actually didn't play that bad. Like my stats were awful, but like I wasn't actually. You know, one of those tournaments where I wasn't milking, but I was just not doing anything. Yeah, I was just there. It's one of those tournaments, like where I was I wasn't making mistakes. I was just not doing much, which I don't prefer that. So I walked away. Like I wasn't too bad, but I decided to not play tournaments again after that, or mostly. And it wasn't actually really to do with this tournament, but it was something I've been thinking about for a while because. During it was during the Nitro season when that was more frustration based, where I was just like, this tournament is just a waste of my time. Like, you know, I actually think this year I probably put out so much less content because of like playing tournaments. And even though it's say like 2 or 3 a week, those 3 hours plus warm up, plus you got to play enough to make sure you're still good enough. All this kind of stuff, like the hours add up. And then now what I found myself was like, okay, if I do a bunch of work during the day, I'm tired by the time the tournament comes at night. And my brain is tired. So then I don't play as good, so I'm annoyed. And then I wake up the next day and my brain's not rested. So it makes the next day work worse. All this kind of stuff. So in summary, I took 2 weeks off because we were just, you know, there were no tournaments. And it's been like the most productive I've been in my life. So Once I played that tournament and it was crap, I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to sit and make content instead and play the odd solo cash cup, maybe play the odd divisional cup, but I'm not going to play every single tournament again because the content opportunities don't come around all that often. So I'm gonna stick with doing YouTube and stop and play less tournaments.
You've literally said you're too old for this shit, pretty much.
Oh yeah, that was the meme I made.
Comp. That's crazy.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
It went so bad you quit comp and you still did better than me, Minnie, and Coach Harry. So,
How did you guys do?
I think we got like 2 points less than you, and we were just mid throughout. We landed in a similar area. We landed like top right. You know, like the mansion bit that's up a bit higher up to the right to you guys.
Oh yeah. I've not been there yet.
With like 15 guaranteed chests and shit, right?
Yeah, Minnie would land at like the bottom bit. I'd land at the mansion, and Harry would sort of loot near like the gas station bit where you're talking about. And so we sort of had like a split going. But yeah, no, it didn't go too great. But it did go good for some other teams, as we already mentioned. Mongrel, Savage, and Panzer win FNCS trial. You know, somewhat of a surprise result, I guess. Not many people were expecting them to win, but they did really good in it. They looked really good. We already talked a bit about them, but I guess any other thoughts you have on that trio as a whole? Are you excited for their chances now in Div 1?
I want to see how they are in the weekly set finals. That's where I'll make my judgment, where the prize money actually is. And obviously even the today and tomorrow's cups, where you have to qualify to that. I'm just excited to see that, and then I'll be able to, maybe next week we'll talk about the first results of that tournament, and we'll be able to actually see who's really doing well in this meta.
Right.
My main concern with that trio is, like you said, like they're good in those. I mean, they were good in Eval Cup yesterday too. They won 3 games in a row with like 20 kills, 15 kills, and like 8 kills, like, which is impressive. And then they faltered after that. But like when things go right for them in terms of spawn fighting and like they don't have an early death, things go very right. The game plays out perfectly. They take height and then they win the game. But when things go wrong in the early game, aka a person gets caught and they have to reboot or they die early, there's no coming back from those games. The game just spirals into like a death spiral of death. We saw that happen in Eval Cup yesterday. It happens to them in Eval Cup finals as well. They struggle in the games that they have any sort of deviation from the plan. I wonder if that's because, set lobbies are just harder for Surge, and especially with like hit scan this season, Surge is super really high, so you have to force to make more plays, or it's just a lack of experience as like a full trio in those set lobbies, because they haven't been, they're one of the few teams that play scrims, but not as a full trio. And I heard Panzer talking, I heard Savage talking to Bloodex about it, and basically Panzer said like, I don't want to play scrims because it's not realistic. Essentially is what he said. And like I'm assuming he just wants a jump in box, right? Like that's what he wants. So there's a bit of a lack of experience in that manner that could make them struggle in those set lobbies. I don't think I'm worried about them in Division 1 opens. I think, like I said, the spawn fight's been great. Like there's been double con, they've gotten 6 kills. They haven't really lost a spawn fight yet, as far as I've seen in like the last 4 tournaments. It just, after the spawn fights, they get third party by Teeny from the Forest or the teams to the south of Shogun, and then that's where shit goes wrong, and then they have to play Storm, and then it all just deviates from there.
The thing that I thought was interesting, because obviously I was playing, so I wasn't watching it or live, but the one thing that Mongo and Savage, it felt like they struggled a lot with this year was like getting those high kill wins in like the first games of tournaments, and like in general in tournaments, just being able to get them high kill wins outside of just the pure last game, right? But they started this one off with a 57 bomb. That's like not Mongo and Savage stuff generally from this year. So like, again, it just goes to show how much better they are on that front. Overall, most of the teams I think you expected to qualify for Div 1 did qualify.
Every single one.
Like, I don't think there was anyone on the EU side of things that should have qualified that didn't.
That was Vidil, Moneymaker, and Twy, but
that was a sad.
You see those 3 names, just like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's not like an unexpected trio. I think like the best team in terms of like previous set teams is like Casper Vinovich, Prism, and Kovacs, 3 global championship qualifiers who got into Division 2 instead of Division 1. But I guess it says a lot about the meta that pretty much every single tier 1 and good team that we've seen been practicing and putting the all into it have qualified with ease. Even like they were all top 10. There's not a single random in the top 10.
Like
it's
the top second team is like Kami, Seti, Chari, Vico, Vino, Flixi, Cringe Mapidella, Chap, Chico, like it's literally just like the heavy hitters for the most part. Yeah, there are some random teams, but like they're
but even the ones that you'd consider are random, they're like
are names.
They're people who you see grinding, and if you are locked into comp, you'll recognize them for the most part. So yeah, no, interesting. Over on the NA side of things, we sort of had a mirror situation because on NA Central we had Clix win the Opens, right? Clix, Muzz, and Rise win the FNCS Trials. Now, I don't know how much of NA Trials you guys watched. Probably not much, and I don't blame you. But do you have any thoughts on the NA Trials thus far?
No.
Only thing I saw was Eval Cup for NA, and I saw Peterbot, Ritual, and Core dropping 30 bombs in those lobbies for top 200, which is insane. I was watching, Peterbot was streaming it for the first time, so this isn't Trials, but I mean, Eval Cup is basically like the warm-up for the Trials, because it's exactly the same shit, but like other regions in it, and oh my god, is how shit people in Division 1 looked like. And it's the way that they made it look like they were just jumping in box, they were yapping the whole time, not even fully like locked in, and they literally dropped a 35 kill win in top 200 lobbies on the region, which is nuts. And it wasn't even hard, like they were just jumping in box and finding kills, and there were good teams in the lobby, like Queasy and Venom in that lobby as well, right? Like, I mean, high ping, but I'm concerned about NA because that team looks unstoppable when it comes to like Opens, but then set lobbies they didn't win a game in Eval Cup. So
it's still just kind of the difference between the best fighters and the top 200 is just so far. Especially like where they land? Is Peterbot still landed in train?
He lands on the Peter literally lands on the train by himself. He doesn't even care about being conned.
Yeah.
Even in Opens.
So like, you know, you're giving them the best loot. It's like they're gonna be able to key. Like if you can frag out in global championships, grand finals, like doing a top 200 lobbies, nothing in comparison. So I don't think that doesn't worry me for the entirety of the format, but it's more just like there'll be some teams who'll be able to do exactly the same kind of stuff when it was like TD in the lower brackets dropping a 30 bomb. You know, it's not like lower brackets was scuffed because of that. It was just like that one scenario was just set up well for them.
Shows how bad players are compared to the pros.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't show how bad players are. It shows how good they are.
It's like the pros are just fucking crazy. Just give us sim players in comp and all the shit players will catch up.
You can finally beat them.
That's how it was. Exactly what we've been saying.
Exactly what's going to happen. Muzz, Clix, and Rise. I had a take. And this isn't a hot take of the week. We haven't done that in a while. Fucking hell, we've not done that in a while, have we?
Lost segments.
This trio, and I love all of these people. Like, I do. So I feel bad that I'm going to say this because they're gonna hear this and I know they're going to think I'm just pure hating. This trio is the perfect composition of we are not trying to win anything. And I know it seems harsh to say that, but you look at all three of these guys and you go, there is a distinct history of being very close to success and coming up short. Like, Rise is like the unluckiest player of all time in Grands. Like, Rise should genuinely be like a 3-time FNCS winner. And like each time, either something unfortunate has happened, whether it was like the DDoS situation, whether he made a mistake or his teammate made a mistake that just cost him in one game that completely threw off everything. Like, he's just been historically very unlucky in NA Grands. And he's a player that he's much better than his results and like his history would show, especially like as an IGL. Really, really smart IGL. But again, he's just the unluckiest player. So you're not in a good starting point when you have Rise there, because you're just gonna get unlucky in the Grands. You just know it's gonna happen. Then you got Clix. Do I need to even speak? Like, you're gonna be 1 point away from winning FNCS. He's gonna get stream sniped. It's gonna be fucked. Like, you're just done. Like, it's over. And then you have Muzz, who this one feels the most unfair to me. But Muzz just like has this rep of just being like a choker. You know, he's got the rep of like, you know, it's gonna come down to the biggest moments, and he's just gonna come up short. Whether that's actually true or not, but it's unfortunate. But that's like the rep he has. So I just look at this trio and I'm like, oh yeah, they're not winning anything. Like, they're just not going to win.
I have the script. After you said that, I formulated it in my brain. Okay. First major, fourth. Just from like, we're doing good, we're not quite there. Clix, so you
that's fourth. Clix fourth. Yeah.
Major number 2, DDoS. Last 2 games or something like that. They're in a winning position and it's over. Number 3, major 3, stream sniped. Therefore, you know, again, similar thing. And then when it comes to global championships, which they've already qualified for, Muzz can't get a visa. There you go. So that's the script. That's what's going to happen with this team.
That would be fitting. That's exactly how I can foresee things going. Yeah, no, 100%. Now that I have all the Clicks fans rattled and like really deeply upset with me, I will say I am excited about this trio. Yeah. It's an interesting one because it's like, I think when you look at them on paper, there's a bunch of other teams in NA that you probably would put ahead them in like a FNtasia sweepstakes. But
sounds better,
with all the things that I said about them, like this trio is insane in terms of like, you have Rise, who I think is FNTA's winning caliber of IGL, like super smart. Like anytime I've gotten the chance to speak to a bunch of like IGLs in Fortnite, and like spend time watching them play, talking to them, whatever. And Rise has always been someone who's impressed me a lot. It was like, damn, like this guy knows the game like really, really well. Clicks and Muzz, both insane players who talent wise, like if you're just speaking talent, as good as anybody else, as good as any player capable of winning an FNCS, you know? So we'll see how these guys do when like the stakes get higher and things get a bit harder, but it was good to see them doing well on the FNCS trial at least.
I think also like their consistency was insane. Like that's something
they've been doing really good. Yeah.
No, I more mean in the FNCS trial themselves. Like their worst placement was 7th.
That's crazy.
Yeah, every single one like single digits, which is super, super impressive. So, you know, I think that speaks to the IGLing of Rise in that scenario, right? Where they drop like a bomb, they're about 50, have like 2 high kill games, and then it's just consistent like top 5-ishes, which is something in like trios is obviously by far the most important. Those big game wins don't usually add up as much. You really want a team who can always get to like a top 5, and it seems like they're able to do that so far.
Yeah,
they'll be affected by the katana nerfs though, because Warriors is the spot where you get guaranteed katanas every single game, so they're gonna have to rely on Void Mask now. So that might actually affect them a lot, because, you know, Warriors is a very good spot. If you're making off a spawn there, you're pretty much guaranteed like at least a top 10 with the movement you have.
Yeah, that's a good point. I completely forgot about that. We haven't even talked about the changes yet. We were gonna do that. Yes, but things haven't.
Today, you mean?
Sure, today, sure, today. Yeah, I guess there was the Typhoon blade that sort of got nerfed. You can't do any of like the boop peaky type stuff anymore, where you phase off of things really easily.
Couldn't even say that with a straight face, man.
I really did try.
Thousands on the streets, man. Just like, it's just so sad about it.
Painful, man.
The peak was massive, boys.
It was massive. Hey, you understand that one now?
Look how massive this peak was.
Look at that. Oh, it's just sad. It's just shell of its former self, man.
Oh, man. The Reese roll is still doable, though. Don't worry.
The Reese roll.
The Reese roll actually is banging. I've done it a couple more times since, and nobody's expecting it. Ever. Like, literally ever.
It's because no one's doing that shit, mate.
Exactly.
I haven't seen a single pro do it yet. The only time I've seen the roll be relevant, there's a clip of who is it? There's a clip of a guy that, I think it's like Edgy or something, who's trying to climb his surge base, and he keeps fucking rolling off that shit over and over and over. It's the funniest clip ever. It's just more of a nuisance than anything with sound like hurdling now. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone effective use it yet, but like I said last episode, people don't want to try new shit. Like all these pros don't. They haven't put time to try like what these new mechanics can do for them, but maybe they're scared of the lag. I don't know.
But it doesn't, like, it won't happen until someone's just going crazy with it, you know?
Yeah. Like one dude's gonna be investing into it.
It's gonna take one pro to just like go crazy with it, and people are like, oh shit, we should be doing this. So yeah, we'll
send a clip for later. We can watch it after the podcast. Okay. But it's what the Reese roll looks like from someone else's POV. It's from DJ's POV, and it's cooked. Like, tell me how you hit that shot. It's nuts.
I never want to see Reese roll in my box, mate.
Yeah, I don't want to see none of that. Is there anything else we need to talk about? FNCS trial. Well, today, as you guys are seeing this, as this comes out, today will be the first day of the divisions, right? So we'll get to watch some Division 1. I will not be watching it because I'll be playing Division 3, sadly. It didn't quite go too well for me. But hopefully I'll be watching on the weekend the finals, seeing who does well, and then we'll be able to update you of all things that I think that's mainly going to be the important part, tracking the finals. Like the bit before that, Div 1 will be good to watch, and I think you'll be able to take some things from it. But more and more, it will be what happens in the finals. Ah, yes, thank you. Producer Courts reminded me. This was the first tournaments with the new player requirements. Did you guys feel a difference in terms of cheaters?
Yes. Well, I don't feel a difference getting in play, but like from seeing,
from watching,
the reaction from people, I didn't see many people complain. The only thing I complained afterwards is like people tagging people because they got like 204th place on the leaderboard and they saw 20 cheaters on the leaderboard. But the general sentiment is, yes, there's going to be cheaters in this first tournament. They were in this tournament. We have seen them before. I know that personally because, you know, we gave a bunch of people Division 1 role in Noble, and I'm looking at this Fortnite track, and I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? And then you go to his Twitter, and he's like retweeting a bunch of aim emoji people. So, like, you know they're cheating, right? But it felt considerably better. Like, I didn't feel like there was as much people complaining about it. And like you saw at the top of the leaderboard, all the pros that went into high elo continued to stay in the high elo because they weren't getting demolished and smashed down by cheaters. And it's only going to get better. I think that's the main thing that people don't understand. It's like, boop, all these guys, like, they did 14 days, they did all this shit, and there's still a cheater. I died to a cheater. First of all, they probably weren't cheating. You're just trash, probably. They just have better aim than you. Second of all, it's only going to get better because as these people get banned, they have to redo their accounts, play 14 events, and it's so much effort, it's so much work that only the dedicated cheaters will continue to play, and not the little Timmies that buy $10 cheats on Discord.
Only the true bums will keep playing, basically.
Yeah,
I the same thing. Like, I mean, we don't usually see cheaters, to be honest. We had one guy who looked a little sus, but you know, the thing is with this AR, it's like I don't know, you can just die instantly if someone has a good lineup or aim for you. So I think that it's true. Like, the sentiment was better. I'd be interested in seeing if there was actually any like cheater differences, right? Like, was there actually significantly less people cheating in this tournament than any other? We wouldn't be able to know off the bat. I imagine they would, because like I said, the 14-day the new requirements. But the fact that the sentiment was better is just a good start, right? It's like, you know, they made a change, and then immediately everyone's a bit happier about it. Oh, yeah, there's not many cheaters. Whether it's true or not, just the sentiment's there, which is a good start. Yeah. As you said, with all the requirements of like having to play 2 days of, the Div 1, and then having a couple of days off before we get into the actual like finals, it's like there's just so many more hurdles. So it felt better, the perception was better, and then the reality will be better for the tournaments where there's actually money. So all good things.
You think a cheater's bad now? Wait till you're stuck in a ballistic game against a cheater and you just want to end yourself because it's the most depressing thing to play against. Alrighty. Fortnite OG is back, but in a bit of a different way, as we've highlighted already. We have 1 month per each season, so this month of December is just Fortnite OG Chapter 1, Season 1. What have you guys made of it so far? Have any of you guys actually jumped in and played it?
No. Not a single game. Not one game has been played to date yet. I saw some of the tweets, I saw the loot pool and whatnot, and like the rarity of shields, and the fact it's just pubs. I don't have that big a nostalgia about Chapter 1, Season 1 either, so when I saw it, I was just like, you know what? Good for you guys. If you wanna play that, go ahead. I'm gonna play something with Shield.
I don't think I've ever been less excited about something that I actually do not actually care about, right? Like, if it came back again, if it was the first time, then sure, maybe, but it's been played out to me, right? Like, and I think it also reflects a lot in like the general sentiment I've seen across everyone. Like, there's a very specific niche target audience that people want this back and they're enjoying it, and fair play if you do, you know, but the map's big. There's not much in it. There's not much healing. It's just a bit boring. And for like the 30-year-old TikTok brain rotted people like me and Resub, like we're not taking part in this bullshit. Enough is enough.
It's funny because I played a bit and it was a thing, you know. I didn't really enjoy it too much, but it was cool. Like, it was cool seeing like the extent at which they went to, like in terms of just like some of the old animations being back, you know, like the different models that were back. Like, it definitely is more OG than when they did the last OG, for sure. But I didn't care for it much. I was a bit like, yeah, this isn't great.
So is that because you're a comp player and or well, maybe that's a bit of a stretch saying that, but you know, maybe we're more competitively minded as people, and it's just pubs. Because you know, when I sit and thinking about who would be the people who, you know, with the target audiences, it's just like pub players at the end of the day. You know, it's just people who just want to play pubs. So for us, as people who never really play pubs, because when we do, we play ranked or like ranked reload or whatever, or tournaments, you think that the appeal for it is less just because it's hubs and that's it?
I'd say no, just because I feel like it's all the same. Like when I play ranked, I don't feel like a significant like, oh, this is ranked.
Yeah, but there's
like,
no bots and stuff like,
But there wasn't bots when I played it. So I played it on day one.
Ooh.
I played it on day one and there wasn't bots. So it wasn't even that it was like because there's bots and shit. It was literally just like, if anything, it was like more hard than some ranks, depending on what rank you're in, at least the casuals making it seem that way. It just wasn't like you said, there was like a shields. It's funny because I think we sort of said this would happen. There's certain things that like I actually just don't like from the old seasons that I'm glad are gone, that I'm like, I don't really enjoy that as much, It was cool, I guess, double pumping was cool because that's back, right? And everyone was like, oh yeah, double pump, like it wasn't, I wasn't blown away. Because one, I've done it before years ago, and two, it's just like I'd rather just play the new season.
So it's almost like the iteration of the game that came out 7 years ago is probably not as enjoyable as the iteration of the game that's coming out now, right? Like, who would have thought that over 7 years the game has developed and improved in some ways? Even though the nostalgia is great.
Take.
I know.
Some part of the community, yeah.
You still have sprinting in it, right? And I think you can sprint in OG now, right? So like, it's not, if we're that much of a nerd that we care about specific things being super ultra OG, then shit like that's got to piss off the casual user base. Like, bro, I couldn't run in OG. I couldn't mantle in OG. Even though those things are making the game a lot better, right? Like, could you imagine having to running on that map without sprinting, without running, all those things? It would be horrible. Yeah, you're right. It's almost as if our nostalgia of better times 7 years ago, our bodies were better, our hands moved faster, our knees were better when we're standing up from the couch reach, right? It was almost like that was a better time. So you're never going to be able to recreate the feeling of getting your first victory out, or like getting excited with your friends and sending a Snapchat to the boys in the group chat of you winning a victory out. And I think a lot of people just need to realize, times were better back then, but you got to move on. If you love something, let it go.
I think it's very important you say that, because generally, I think what OG has shown to me is just how sad people can be manipulated by nostalgia and how much people just want to get back to that old time in their life. Because that really is what it is. Like,
better days.
There will be some people who are like, no, I actually really did like the way the chest looked before, and that's a big deal breaker for me. But the reality is you missed that time of your life, because it was an amazing time. I missed that time of my life as well. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But
now it's amazing.
Now it's still amazing. Well,
now
maybe that's why I don't mind.
Slightly shittier now.
Now it's pretty good, bro.
We've got more money now. We've got everything.
I'm not broke in school, Like now I actually have money,
I was a fucking construction cost consultant in 2017, bro. You really think I'm going back to that shit? Hell no. This is way better.
Some aspects are better now than it was before, but the nostalgia of it back then, it was a different time. There was something strangely weird about like that time, but
I mean, it's why Fortnite blew up to be the game it was, and because what it did in that period of time, like what it provided as a game in that period of time, was so special. You almost can't like describe it, you can't capture it. And so just purely taking us back to that map in that time, I don't think is ever really gonna capture that. It was the time, it was the moment.
No matter how many bots you add.
Yeah,
that's another thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, before we go on to that, whilst we're still on this topic, the bots is a big part of it. But while we're on the topic of like capturing the specialty of it, I saw a tweet and I couldn't find it. It really annoyed me while I was looking back so we could try and bring it up, but totally couldn't find it. And it was like a tweet that had a really good point in it and then the worst conclusion of all time, right? So it was a tweet that was about the skill level of it, because basically, when it dropped, a lot of people were complaining about like, oh, it's too hard, all these sweaty nerds, right? But in the tweet, what they had essentially said was, what we really should do is we should go back to how it actually was in Chapter 1. Team killing on, no turbo build, all the same, like no sprinting, all this kind of stuff. And that I actually fully agree with. I actually think they missed the mark in like adding all the sprinting stuff. Obviously, zero build, you kind of need sprinting, all this kind of stuff. I think they should have fully committed and made it what it actually was when it came out. And I was like, yeah, I agree. But the conclusion of this was, the reason we're doing this and the reason we think this is because then it'll even the skill gap. That was like that was the genuine like conclusion. Get rid of turbo build so that people can't build this way stuff. I was like, this game is 7 years on, and this is still a conversation that's been had. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I said to you that like people don't realize that. Like, I agree in a sense, because sure, if we're gonna go back, like fully commit, sure, like make it the original thing. I don't know if there are technical limitations to like them being able to do that, but I saw a lot of people making that point because they thought it would mean that then the game would feel exactly like that in terms of like how the games play out. Where, because in that early time of Fortnite, people, you know, it felt like anybody could win, and you actually felt like you had a better chance of winning, and like there weren't that many sweats, quote unquote. I was around back then. That was my prime of Fortnite, right? Let me tell you something. Before they added turbo building, I remember when they added turbo building. It was amazing. It was revolutionary. Before they added turbo building, there was people who could build like fuck. But the problem is that it came like it was at such a perfect time and crossroad where the people who could build like fuck, as soon as they could build like fuck, that's when turbo building came. So then more people could build like fuck. I'm telling you right now, if they remove turbo building, the people who are like building like crazy are still going to be able to build like crazy and kill 100%. You in a second. Like 100%, they're still going to be able to build their massive towers. But I think these people think that wouldn't be the case because they associate non-turbo building with the time where like it felt like nobody could build. Let me promise you now, it would not, like it wouldn't change how the games are playing out. You're still going to get shit on by the sweats who are building towers. I don't know, man.
I found the tweet. I found him a tweet.
You found it? Okay, go on.
I'm going to read it out because I can't be bothered to send it to our producer because it'll take too long to get it sorted. But he said, so OG is fun, but it misses the main points everyone has been saying since late chapter 1. No turbo build, increased build health, delay between edits and builds, no first shot accuracy, etc. So these are all the things I mentioned where I'm like, that would actually make it feel like chapter 1. Like, obviously, like I said, the good people still be good. The next line is literally, zero build isn't a placement for that. We want to strategize and build forts.
How about you just, you know, the thing is, those people, you can never argue with them because they have one set mind in mind and that's it. And the irony of it is, it's such a minority as well. It's like the people like, oh, these builders, these people. Like, I'm looking at the Fortnite GG right now of Fortnite OG Zero Build, Chapter 1, Season 1. And it has a whopping 46,000 people playing. Now, the update just came out today, so that's fair play to that. But like, its absolute peak at 350k. It's 24-hour peak at 180k. Compare that to the build version where it's 1.3 million at the peak and then 580k at the 24-hour peak, right? So there's 4 times as many people. So they don't reap what they sow, basically, right? Like they want all these people to start building and do this, but then they still play the build mode over the zero build mode anyway. So there's such a minority that actually cares about that.
That's not a problem. The problem is they want people to stop building better than them.
Okay. So they want to be able to spawn in a fucking wall and that's it, and then shoot behind it like a trailer.
Well, because you see the point the guy made at the end of that tweet, Reese. It does take me back to a memory of Fortnite that I vividly have that was a good time, because there was an intersection in time when people were building forts and stuff, but they weren't able to like build fight and like really use builds like crazy. And I remember it because like when I played squads with my IRLs, what we'd always do is there was always the zones that pulled towards like the west where all the mountains are. And I remember we always used to be like, mountain zone. So we'd run up a mountain and build like a big like fort, you know? And it was like, you couldn't lose the game that way. Like if it kept pulling on you, like it was like GG's.
So what you've just described is the Trulex base. So
they've
like,
existed.
These guys who want to do this should actually just get into comp. I think that's actually, that's the natural progression here, is that these people who are really casual actually think they should really enjoy competitive Fortnite. There's a lot of strategic play. There's a lot of forts. There's a lot of towers. You gotta go to those hills, you know? Maybe we've just found our bigger audience. That's it.
But that's the thing. Like, you can, like, I don't think these people realize you can still do what you want to do. You just have to be able to understand that, like, there's an evolution. People know how to counter these things now. Like, cool, you build your fort like you did back in 2018, but now I know what to do against your fort because it's been 7 years to figure out what to do. Like, and again, if you really think that, like, turbo building is like the big difference between that, trust me, like, turbo building makes a difference. There's things that people do now build wise that probably wouldn't be as possible as doable in like a game, but for the most part, these people are still going to wipe the floor with you with or without turbo building and stop your little fort.
I wonder what.
Go on.
I wonder what the difference is in Fortnite with people like having this negative stigma against being good at the game. Like, where did this change? This is because we don't have a good ranked mode, or we don't have good SBMM that everyone's been cultivating and thinking that like you can't be good at the game. Because like in other games, they praise good players, right? Like League of Legends, they praise good players. CS, they praise people for being good at the game. Where did it all go wrong in Fortnite?
Because it's okay. So we're saying like where's it going wrong in Fortnite? This is like an issue game wide, right? The games that you mentioned are more exceptions to the rule rather than the standard, right? Because like games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends and WoW and these kind of games are like, whatever.
Valorant League,
they are competitive games.
They are built on that.
Yeah, built on that. And like the core audience is that. And it's like, it's almost odd to be a casual in a sense. It's not odd, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's rare to be a casual. Like you're in it to be competitive for the most part. You can play pubs and yeah, it's fun as a shooter, but ultimately the game is fully designed around that. Almost every other game in the world is the opposite, where there's a casual and they're like, oh, we should think about esports as well. And Fortnite is very much so kind of falls under that category. So it's, you know, in those games, so this is like a massive problem in Halo as well, and it always has been, where there's different sides of the community. So in Halo, there's like the people who use Forge, which is essentially like creative, you know, build a bunch of maps, play a bunch of cool stuff like that. And that's always been one side of the community. You'll play pubs, it's fun to play with my friends, and play big team battle, play like AV8, whatever. And I don't know what it is now, but you know, that's one side. And there's always been like a very anti-competitive side to that game as well, where they've been like, oh, you guys are trying too hard, rank mode, competitive. It's the exact same stuff you see in Fortnite. Like, oh, your guys' game mode is boring because it doesn't have the needler. You know, you take out all these items that we use in pubs. It's so stupid. Every conversation that you've seen in competitive Fortnite and arguments casual versus competitive has happened in other games already at this point. Yeah. So it's not necessarily the fact that Fortnite's so different. It's just that, you know, those games you've mentioned are the exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, I follow COD quite a bit, and this has been a problem in COD for years. Because it's like, and to answer your question, I don't know where this transition happened. I think this is just like a thing of society as a whole, because I feel like you could point to things outside of gaming where this is an issue. But it's like, I remember back when I was younger and playing COD, if there was someone bossing the lobby, I'm sending that brother a friend request. I'm like, yo, you're sick, bro. Like, how are you so sick? Now it's like everybody's just like, yeah, nah, man. If you're sick at the game, like you're a loser, you're a low life. You can't do nothing. Like, do you have a job? Get a job or get a life. Like it's crazy now. Where I don't know when it happened, but you're right. There has been a shift where in the past it was rewarded. You were like, if you're good at a game, fair play, man. Like you're that guy. You're sick. Now, get a life, mate.
I'm not sure what COD you were playing, but if some dude was stomping my lobby, I would not be sending him a friend request. I'd be sending him very, very colorful messages in the DMs about his mother and what she's doing on a Saturday night, you know?
It depends on what type of stomp, right? Because there was the respectful stomp. Oh, no, sorry. The guy on your team, you send the friend request. The guy on the other team, oh, fuck that guy. He's all the slurs in the world. But the guy on my team that was bossing the lobby, hey, yo, let's play again, bro. Like, you're sick.
I was telling that guy all the things in DM so much us me.
No, I mean, I do think back because, like, you know, my main game was, you know, in, say, 2005 to 2009 or 11 or whatever, around that time, when everyone talks about Call of Duty and whatnot, I was, like I said, playing Halo at that point. And it was the same thing that Levin just said there. You come across a good player, you know, if they're on your team and they're unreal, like, you are going to try and play with those people, because especially like there's rank mode, there's like MLG mode, there's teams that you really want to be part of, like a good 4v4 team. So if you see someone good, like, yeah, you're going to try play with them. And then if they think you're dog shit, then you get embarrassed. But you're like, I'm trying, I'm trying to get out there and play with those good players, trying to get around those circles. And that, for the most part, is something we don't actually really see as much today. I think you're right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to be changed. I think we saw, obviously, the big controversy around OG. It took us a while to get to this point, but obviously on like the first couple of days, there were no bots, which was
or SBMM.
OG. No bots, no SBMM. And there was an utter uproar on social media from a certain part of the community who really, really feel like they need bots in the game to be able to enjoy the experience. And so they started to do revolts, and eventually Epic give in, and they had bots, they had SBMM. And, those people are happy, but then there was the fight back from everybody else who was like, I don't want bots. Why do we need bots? Why do we need, oh my gosh. What did you guys make of this battle between the bots and the no bots?
So here's the thing, right? Maybe it's because I'm not part of the casual community. I didn't see the uproar where it needed bots. And I still, to this day, I'm yet to see a player say, I've not seen any of these tweets where people have said, can we get skill-based matchmaking in a box? Like, not one single tweet. I'm sure they exist.
They do.
I don't swim in these waters out there. But all I saw was outroars of people being like, this is so stupid. Why are we adding them? Yada, yada, yada. Like, I just saw so much on the opposite, like the return of it. And it's not like it's not like the comp players and the people who I'm in the community with are saying these tweets. It's all casual. So it's like, I saw 10x the amount of tweets of people disagreeing with the addition of bots rather than I saw them actually people asking for it, which was strange. That's where I think, like, surely there's a mismatch here of opinions.
Well, it's 50-50. I think this number, or the numbers that Hypix tweeted out, is like the extreme side of it, right? Like, I don't think there's a single person that agrees with this, other than like maybe a few dummies on Twitter. But there was a lot of uproar at the start of the fact that, we're just getting run through by sweats. There's too many sweats playing the game. Let us OGs play the game normally. Let us enjoy our time. Don't W key us. There was even like a screenshot. It had like 35,000 views. It's like, look at these people, and it was a bunch of skins in the pregame lobby.
I saw
and
that.
they were wearing they weren't even sweaty skins, but they look slightly sweaty, and all the comments were like, dude, I can see the green emanating from their bodies. I can smell the stinkiness from them. They look like they haven't showered. What the fuck are their fucking Fortnite skins? But that is the level that was at the start, and then they just changed for bots, and it's more the sentiment is, yes, we want bots in the game, but we don't want 90. We want maybe like half the lobby. Like, I don't notice half the lobby. But then you have the discussion of like, what's the point of ever adding bots, right? I can't go into the minds of these players and be the type of person who's going to be like, yeah, I play an online game to get a win and get a guaranteed win every single time, right? Like, that's not what you want. You want the satisfaction. So like, they're kind of playing both sides, because like, you want to have that feeling of getting that first win after trying a lot, but they also want to get the win very quickly to satisfy the TikTok brain. So it doesn't really make sense from that side. Adding 90 bots is fucking ridiculous. No real human that exists on this earth who knows about hard work, determination, blood, sweat, and tears wants that shit. You don't get shit handed to you on a silver platter. Be better.
But here's the thing, though, right? Obviously, Epic understand. Like, they know the stats. We talk about the stats. They got the numbers. They got shit we don't see. And they obviously know that adding bots, whether it's on their normal pub experience, is beneficial for like the long term of keeping people playing. Because if you load in a game, and like we're always criticizing people who make this opinion, if you just want to play against bots and you can't take the heat, you can't take the smoke, the problem is most of these people do get out of the kitchen and then they're not playing Fortnite anymore, so they just disappear. So sure, your current player base who's playing may enjoy it more, but there's other people who are getting dunked on all the time. They probably aren't going to stick around because the game just becomes too hard. In particular, like, the game's really hard at 7 years on. People are goddamn good. Like, the average player is so much better than they used to be.
100%.
So from that perspective, it's like, I understand the addition of bots. Plus, if you think these new players, like the Giga Casuals, like, if you're in low skill-based matchmaking pubs, right? Like, your skill level has got to be, handless almost at that point.
Well,
so... So if you have 90 bots in your lobby, do you even notice them? Do you know if they're a bot or a real player if you are that bad?
I can tell you, my parents, they play against 90% bots and they don't notice.
There
so
you
like
go,
that's the audit. But they do play ranked now, right? But when they used to play pubs back in the day, they're like, oh my god, I just see my mom with 20 eliminations. It's just a fucking guy shooting a shotgun in the air, not even looking at it. So yeah,
did you break her heart? Did you like?
No, they're like, no, that's a human being. They're anonymous mode. They're cheating, you know, like they're fucking cheating in our lobby. So yeah, she's on board with that. But yeah, the for those people, yes, I guess it makes sense for like 90% be bot because they just don't notice. And those are the people that are not on Twitter, probably like no, they're just playing the game, loading up after getting home from work, playing with the kids, and they just don't notice. Or it's like a 6-year-old kid who's playing. They're not going to look at Silly Stomper 69 and see, oh yeah, that's clearly a bot name, right? So I guess for those guys, Epic probably has the data, but the fact that many people on Twitter are talking about it makes me feel like they already notice in their own games that the SPM is that level. Maybe the numbers just have to be tweaked.
I mean, I can't remember what game it was. I think it might have been COD or Apex, or someone might know because they probably saw it as well. There was a game dev that basically came out and was like, hey, these are the numbers on what happens when we have SPMM on versus not. And it made it very quickly clear to me why all games now just have it on. Because there is a general trend where less people play when there is not SPMM. And so, sure, we all want to go back to the good old days, or not all of us, but some of us. But the reality is it makes it very hard for people at a lower level. And you might argue, yeah, you know, fuck them. But, you know, that is a consideration you have to make. And the problem is when you compare like OG Fortnite and the skill level back then when the skill ceiling was very, very low, we all, even if you were at the near handsless level of play, you actually had a chance to win a game.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. Now, that handless person has zero chance. In a lobby that has no SPMM, where there's just a chance that one okay player, not even a good player, like someone like you know, that can somewhat build, barely, but like that person has no chance against that level of player with how the game's developed now. So I get it. The problem is though, is that on the other side, for the people who do want to play pubs but are actually decent in the game, you're punished. Because when you actually are like when you know there's bots and you can identify that there's bots, it's so unrewarding. Genuinely is. Like, I've had games when I've randomly like queued into pubs by accident and I thought I was playing ranked. Where like I've gotten to the end and it's a 1v1 against a bot and I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. You know, like I want the last battle to be, I want the end to be intense, like, and it just isn't. And so for those people, you kind of get screwed because yes, if you're in a higher SPMM, there's less bots, but you can still get to like the latter stages of the game and there be bots. It doesn't just mean that all those bots are wiped out at the start and then the rest of the game plays out. No, like these bots are sprinkled in all throughout a match. So it's just, yeah, it hurts everyone. I feel like nobody's ever going to be satisfied.
No, I feel like there's also two different conversations to have there, right? Like the difference between having skill-based matchmaking and then having bots too. Because I actually think the idea of if you're in low pub skill-based matchmaking, I'm not against bots because the reality is like you're just gonna lose every game. It makes sense. But I feel like if in high skill-based matchmaking, I don't really understand the idea of why would you need any bots then?
10%
high skill-based matchmaking, 10%. Like high skill-based matchmaking is actually like, you know, you're all competent players. Like obviously they're not going to be solo cash cup winners or anything like that, but like, they can build, they can all play the game good. So I do think it's like a matter of tweaking from that perspective. I think the other conversation there is like also people were complaining about having to add skill-based matchmaking. It wasn't just the fact that people are adding bots or getting, you know, moaning about. And similar to you, you know, you saw that tweet about the numbers. I actually watched a video. I wish you could credit the guy. I can't remember who it was from. Like a month or two ago about why skill-based matchmaking is so needed now. And it basically was summarized up the fact that the average player is so good that if you put like just random people into lobbies, you get significantly lower quality because the skill is like you are either getting absolutely dominated or you are absolutely dominating. Like the chance of you getting a close tense match is so low because the average player is either really good or they're just like new and just shit, you know?
See, I relate to this a little bit because I'm thinking about like my own experience starting off playing this season, and I played the game of ranked. Okay, my first game of ranked, pretty easy. You know, I get a few kills, I die, and then my second game of rank, it just, man, if I'm not fucking locked in, I'm not gonna get a good game in. You know, like I'm running into a prime mongrel who's boxing and piecing me, and I have to like actually try like I'm playing a solo catch up at some point because my MMR in ranked is like relatively high against. But then when I swap over to pubs, all the people like me that say, fuck it, I don't want to try too hard anymore, they're also playing pubs now because they're also sick of the shit too. So my MMR in pubs is also very high, and then I run into very good players as well. So I understand that feeling of like, yes, it can be frustrating, and when you don't feel like actually trying that hard, it's going to be super annoying. But I don't think having 50% of the lobby being bots in that sense actually solves that issue. Like, it just takes away the fun of it. Because eventually, in that game of pubs, like when I played it, I was like, okay, I got 5 kills, I died, and then eventually I dropped a 20 bomb against real players. I'm like, okay, hell yeah. I may have stomped a bunch of 9-year-old kids, but like this felt good compared to if there was some random bots in that game. At least, yeah, my experience is probably very different, but I do see the pain point of a player of like, you're not gonna have fun if you're not doing well. But most people should be at a level where they don't need only bots in the lobbies to do well, right? Like they can still shoot people, and like there's going to be other shit players in those games as well, I would assume.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think tweaking it, making it so that there's less, like you're mostly stacking the bots in like the really lower levels, you know, of SPMM makes sense. I think outside of OG though, of course, you know, people are playing it, which is good. We're going to have more seasons, more changes. I'm sure they're going to update things. We're going to have OG Cup soon, which would be interesting. There's no prizing, but it should still be interesting how that fares. Yeah. FNTasia's trial, good, fun, had a good time. Onto the divisions now, and then into more FNTasia's intense stuff. I think now we'll just cut to the bit about OG.
Yeah. Do you want to explain it so we cut it in, or are you just gonna? Because
we did an outro. We also did an outro, don't we?
No, I'm gonna. Oh yeah, we did an outro, I guess.
It's over.
I'm just gonna end the pod. Fuck their out. They don't fucking get an outro. Fuck them. Nah. Yeah. All right.
You just do an outro here and then cut it after.
Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to this week's episode of the podcast. That end bit about OG was recorded the day before because we had some audio problems. So apologies for the audio there, but yeah.
We didn't. But someone here did. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not naming any names.
Not naming any names.
Okay.
Well, looking at anybody.
All right.
Yeah. Well, there's only one with a number in his name, though.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.